What's up, boomers, zoomers, and coomers? This is the Media Hole Podcast.
That's how you want to start it?
Sure, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Whatever. You want to talk about Elon Musk?
I want to talk about him fucking cosplaying like he's broke.
Love it.
For those not in the know, because of Biden's Build Back Better plan, Elon is actually finally getting taxed. And,
This is a travesty. Rich people aren't supposed to pay taxes. Only
Yeah.
poor people are.
it's the loophole that they finally have been like going through their whole life is now being like exploited or
Not even exploited. They are being slightly inconvenienced.
Yeah, $15 billion on Elon, who is like a man who hasn't paid taxes in like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And also Tesla's like on track to be the first $1 trillion company.
Mm-hmm.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Or like whatever. Fuck you, man.
Maybe there's an amount of money we need to say your company or you're an individual can't do higher than this.
Also, Tesla shares rise after Elon Musk's $5 billion US stock sale. So it's like literally his company got better by selling stock.
That's stupid. Money is dumb.
Yeah,
Speaking of people making money that I'm fine with, speaking of people who are making money, but this one I'm fine with.
The Washington Post squeaked an article through Jeff Bezos' eyes.
What did it say?
WashPo is owned by Jeff Bezos, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Opinion. Probably like a guest columnist. Elon Musk once again proves the need for a billionaire tax.
Yes, but see, it's not anti-Bezos.
But it's anti-billionaire because it's saying that we need a billionaire tax. So it's not saying Jeff Bezos is the reason why we need it. He's saying, throwing it to the other side, was like, our boy Elon is the reason why.
But Bezos hates Elon. That's like a thing that is known.
Really?
Yeah. They don't like each other.
Bezos is Doc Ock and Elon is Norman Osborn.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Because remember that fucking scene where that clip where Bezos at like that fucking tech expo?
Yeah.
And they gave him those like gloves, but they had like Doc Ock arms coming out, and he was like moving them, and he was going like,
yeah.
It's like, Jesus.
Even though I think the better comparison is Lex Luthor.
It is, because bald man, rich, more involved in politics, where Norman Osborn is just kind of there.
I think the difference is that Jeff Bezos isn't smart.
That is the huge difference between both of them.
Yeah.
Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are not smart.
Yeah. Don't you remember how, like, for the better part of a decade, Elon Musk promoted himself as, like, a real-life Tony Stark? Isn't that funny? Because
and then he was in Iron Man 2. Where,
but isn't it funny because it's like Tony Stark, like, in-universe, like, makes the things he makes money off of?
Yeah.
Like it is, like... Yes, he does have employees, but he's still, like, doing legitimate labor and design work and, like, is capable of building things IRL without help.
Tony Stark is, like, he's a fictional character.
Yeah.
He's
the platonic ideal of
he's
a billionaire.
literally the fucking, like, he's what billionaires want to be, except that only in Iron Man 1. By the time they hit, like, Iron Man 2 and 3, and then Avengers, where he's just like, oh, yeah... I've decided to make electricity free for everyone and want to have a clean renewable resource so the planet survives. They just forget that part and go like, yeah, but he gets to like be rich and everyone loves him.
Yeah, like same with Batman. Like those characters are the platonic ideal of a billionaire from the point of view of a non-billionaire.
That's actually one thing I really didn't like about Nolan North's Batman. Not Nolan North. Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan's Batman, where it in like The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
They were like, oh no, the Wayne Corporation is broke because Bruce Wayne won't let them make like bad stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons why they're trying to like kill Bruce Wayne so that the board can take more control over the company.
Yeah.
So that they can be villainous again. Mm-hmm. Or like capitalism bad.
Yeah.
But then like Christopher Nolan and whoever else wrote that movie is straight up saying there is no money in being a good person.
Yeah.
And it's like, go fuck yourself, man.
Well, it's like maybe consider this for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe
It's like,
think about it.
it's like, if this giant company won't make money if they don't do if they do nice things.
I feel like Elon Bezos,
Companies are bad.
other guy I can't remember the name of, could easily turn around and actually start putting their money into like making a clean money and like clean energy infrastructure. Because like, hey, capitalism bad, but if
Also,
the capitalists turn around and decide to actually help us,
also,
that
like
would be sick.
Wayne Corp in like the comics does like many things. Like they don't have to only make weapons just because like they make gadgets for Batman.
Yeah.
But that's part of like,
Or it's like, why
Dark Knight trilogy Batman is very militarized and not very like fun. So it's like, it's not that like Lucius Fox comes up with like cool things that are interesting. It's like Lucius Fox makes a tank.
Gotham in those movies is like, what if the U.S. government never abandoned Detroit, but the crime rate never went down, no matter how much money they funneled into the police?
Or like, what if Chicago, like, the white people also did crimes?
Okay, that's rough. Oh, okay. I hope you don't cut that out, because that is funny. Because also, have you been to Chicago?
I've been to Chicago. Listen, Chicago, lovely city. Yeah. Like, I'm just
lovely
making a
city,
joke.
Very gentrified.
Very gentrified.
That's the statement you are making.
Yes, it's very gentrified. Also it's like, it is the reactionary conservative, like, look at Chicago, it's crime city.
Yeah. Like, Chicago is like, if you're in like the nice part, it's like actually straight
Chicago's
up white.
a lovely city. Even like the less nice parts, even the more poor areas.
Oh yeah,
like, it's a lovely city.
We were like drunk. When we were there, I was like walking around drunk there.
Yeah.
Or like I like grabbed like a 6-pack from like a 7-Eleven. God bless America.
God bless America.
Regard. Only in that regard.
There's like a few regards.
Sure.
That's one of them.
It was that I walked right out of the 7-Eleven, and I'm like drunk, so I have like drunk man confidence, like no one can stop me. So I walk right out of there, and there's like a bunch of African American gentlemen.
Okay.
And one dude said, "Give me one." I thought he said, "Hey man, give me one of those," and I said, "No thanks," and I just kept walking. And Blake and David were like behind me, and they like jogged to catch up to me. And then they later, like the next day, maybe even like a week later,
were they attempting to mug you?
No, they weren't attempting to mug me, because mugging to me implies that they are straight up cornering you and saying, "Give me your shit," or trying to take it from you.
They have to in your eyes, they have to explicitly threaten violence, not imply it.
Threaten violence or try to grip it from me and run.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take it from me in a forceful way. Turns out that guy said, "Give me that." Didn't give me the option of giving him one, said, "Give me that."
Give me that. Yeah. The whole case. Not even give me one.
It was just like a 6-pack of
But you just kept walking.
I was like, no, and I just kept walking.
You know what? I don't know what to say about that personally. But yeah, Chicago, lovely city. I'm not trying to diss on Chicago.
They have a free zoo.
That's fucking rad.
Their park is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did film The Dark Knight in Chicago, and that's part of where it came from. Anyway, my point is,
those bridges, they made those bridges look a lot bigger. Like, because the bridges into Chicago.
You're thinking of Dark Knight Rises, where Gotham is New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they tried to, but like I think they still, because there's bridges into Chicago. Chicago is like an inlet island sort of thing, but it's I feel like it's practically man-made, and you can walk across those, like that water. It's not deep. And it's not it's not a canal. It's like literally like, I'm in and out.
Yeah, no,
it's like the LA River.
They stopped making like, Batman Begins takes place in like a fully fictional city, and they shot it in like Australia.
Yeah.
But
because those fucking train cars that the final fight is in,
honestly, looks great. High. But it looks great.
Really cool, like neo-futuristic city.
Yeah, it's a lot more interesting. Again, like, I do prefer a Gotham City like full of like gargoyles and shit, and like long, tall lines.
Yeah.
And I like that in like some of the comics, Wayne Tower, like the silhouette of it has the bat ears. I just like that.
Unintentionally.
intentionally because the guy drawing it is like, yes.
Yeah, but like in universe, it's not like Bruce Wayne was like, all right, recently after I've come back from my 10 years away, and I've now regained control of the company.
My thought is, like, sometimes it just, like, is shown it just has spikes. My thought that I think that would be cool is, like, it's a W because the bottom part of the W has, like, building behind it, whereas the top parts are kind of, like, above the building. Could cause, like, the bad ears look. Could be an in-universe explanation. Instead, it's, like, just, like, weird spires or whatever on it. But I think that would make a little bit more sense. But, yeah. But, yeah. Batman's cool.
Batman's cool. Every billionaire who wants to be Tony Stark or Bruce Wayne are not.
Yeah.
Until they start actually like turning around and trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
But instead they keep going like, oh no, the world's like totally fucked.
Yeah.
We literally can't do anything about it.
Billionaires
I guess we'll go to Mars.
Billionaires who want to be Tony Stark, quote unquote, because like they don't actually want to be, they just want to be seen like they are. They just want to seem like that. But it's like the inverse of cops who like want to be the Punisher. Because it's like Tony Stark and, you know, Bruce Wayne, if we're going by like multiple, you know, there's obviously a lot of versions of them out there in the ether, but like ultimately I think they're both good guys. They're both like decent people, whereas I think Punisher is a bad man and you shouldn't want to be like him.
Yeah.
Obviously there are incarnations that are very like pro Punisher, but I prefer not those ones because I think that's lame.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a world that has like a million non-lethal options at that point.
Yeah.
Like it's like Spider-Man isn't killing anybody. Like SHIELD agents tend not to kill people.
Yeah.
But, you know,
the paramilitary people don't kill less people than the Punisher do.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay, so on to real news.
No, what I was going to say.
Gamer news.
Hold on. This is gamer news that's also about money, but it's about somebody making money that I'm like fine with making money, even though this person is wealthy. Have you heard about Amaranth and what she's been talking about recently?
I'm aware of Amaranth. She is just the queen of the trends.
Yep. Hey man, people want to see titty and they're willing to spend money on it.
If people want to do it, people keep using there's this one fucking like Bruno Mars song.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, this bitch got me paying a rent, paying a life. And people keep using it for like their tier 3 subs they have for people. So I saw one for like Pokimane.
Listen, simp if you want. That's fine.
Simp if you want, if you can afford it.
Yeah, don't go crazy. You know, don't throw your life away to simp. But being a simp isn't terrible.
Yeah. So what's Amaranth doing?
Amaranth. So Amaranth makes her money off of Twitch, but she's also the most frequently banned Twitch user.
Because there is like Twitch does have some rules. They're kind of archaic, but also
they're archaic and selectively like
they really
used.
just it's something that they like the titty rules and all that with like cleavage.
Yeah,
they came up with that years ago, not just to like kind of shut people up, because there was some really extreme examples on Twitch.
Yeah,
like I'm sure Amaranth is very conscious of the rules. It's just that, you know, they don't. It's a bunch of individuals who review cases, and if one guy says, hey, this streamer went too far, but another guy would say this streamer doesn't go too far.
Well, it's like sexual content is banned on Twitch, and it's like, okay, what's sexual content?
Also,
right,
like,
and like
dressing promiscuously.
I might have different opinions of what sexual content is than you, right?
Yeah,
because it's like it's sexual to like bounce your titties, no matter what you're wearing.
It's sexual to like, I don't know, if you were like doing like a hot tub stream or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just started acting like you were getting fucked, but you weren't showing anything, like just bouncing up and down and moaning on something.
Yeah,
like not showing anything. That's like borderline sexual, because you're acting like you're doing it.
Yeah, but it's like see, but for some person that's past the line.
For me, it's like on the line.
For me, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know you don't give a fuck, but also Twitch is an organization that doesn't want to. They're trying not to be YouTube, where YouTube was for years was expressly like, if your content, even if it's marked as adults only, isn't suitable for a child to stumble upon, you're losing all ads.
Yeah.
Where Twitch is like, we have 18 plus and mature settings. Obviously, people are going to get through them, but we're not going to stop you for being like, oh, if you swear on your stream.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's dumb. Mm-hmm. Also, if I play Grand Theft Auto 5, there's nipples, and that's fine. But if I play
No, it's actually not fine. You can get banned for that.
Really?
Yes. Sexual situations in games as well gets you banned.
Damn.
Not as quickly as music showing up in your stream.
Of course. Well, listen, the most important
music
thing...
that was licensed by the game developers to be put into the game is not you licensed to stream it. Shut the... Yep. If anyone who has ever made that argument is a little fucking bitch.
I mean, okay. In terms of legally, it's true. In terms of in any sane world, like, is that fine or not?
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid.
Their whole defense isn't them being like they don't have the license. Their defense is like, oh, people can like go into your stream and rip the audio and have like a free version of the song. And it's like, yeah, the free version of the song with like Ludwig constantly talking over it. That's my favorite. Or like Germa. Or like when someone watches like the Game Awards is coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah. The live performances.
Crossing some fucking fingers from some Mass Effect 4 news.
But live performances got us even.
Yeah.
Our video got claimed.
Yeah, it's just you.
The last 2 years in a row.
Yeah, because it's like ridiculous, and like streamers have to
Are we still gonna stream our reactions? Do you want us to stream them in the same room?
I'll probably do it from my house. Well, because I'll probably do it like if we do it over Discord, I can pull in like.
Well, that's what we did
Anthony
last year.
And Stevie, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what sucks is that they're live performances, but then you see like streamers where like as soon as a song starts to play, like they're watching a trailer for a game,
mute,
and they hear, or like my favorite is whenever it happens on Pat's stream, he just goes and starts muting the stream.
That's funny.
Yeah. Same with Germa for one of them, where he just started for E3 one year. He just started like singing loudly over it instead of muting.
See, for me,
because it's getting ridiculous. Even like Twitch's own gaming, like Twitch Gaming, for the last big event, I think. It's the Summer of Games one, the one that's like kind of E3 but kind of not anymore.
Yeah.
They got taken down in the middle of their own stream by copyright bots. It's like you're not even Twitch Gaming is safe. And that was the one I was watching so I could hear like the whole music. And then when IGN was doing like the Ubisoft conference, when Riders Republic came on, they put on like a royalty free song.
Yeah.
Because they got told beforehand when it was going to happen on the stream. So they got their own music. Like they got a copy of the trailer before and was like, this is what it's going to sound like. So they got royalty free shit that sounded like it. It's like, hey, that's a good try to switch it up, but also
good way to do it, but also fuck off.
Yeah, Twitch should literally just be like, if you are live streaming a Twitch affiliated event,
here's something. Here's better.
Anything you can do. Like, the bot should not
better,
be able to touch
Ian.
you.
Fucking Twitch should be like, if Twitch wants to, they can be like, okay, you can copyright strike VODs, and you can copyright strike highlights
for sure, absolutely.
Live streams
bullshit
can do whatever the fuck they want
within reason.
Whatever the fuck they want in regards to copyright.
Did you ever see the guy who he streamed like a current UFC fight, and all he did was put himself in the bottom corner on a green screen? It made it look like he would just pressing buttons.
That's great.
And made it look like he was playing. So if people came through like during the fight, it looked like he was playing like UFC 2022.
I do like that they have Twitch watch-alongs for movies that are on Amazon Prime. I think that's a good.
And you're not allowed to. There's no.
You can't VOD them, but you can live do it. And I think that's cool. We could MST3K a movie.
If you do like that, that's all I'm saying. Is that if you are like on Twitch. Like, when the Game Awards comes around, streamers shouldn't have to worry if you're watching, like, the official Game Awards live stream. You shouldn't have to worry if, like, a trailer shows up.
Yeah, I'm a motherfucker who's like, I'll let that shit rock and I don't care because, like, I'd rather just view it and not have to deal with it because I'm not live streaming because it's my job. I'm live streaming for fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think the craziest one I heard was some guy got DMCA'd for streaming for streaming Dead Space 2.
Yeah.
Because there's a noise in Dead Space 2 that a artist sampled for one of their songs.
Yeah, they're both like both Dead Space 2 and a song by an artist like used the same stock sound. They bought like the same.
Yeah. And because of that,
but because it's like only the song is in the database, it like reads it as being from the song. Mm-hmm. Which is fucking dumb. Maybe you should change the database slightly to not include things like covers. Wouldn't that be chill?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's fucking dumb. YouTube does the same shit. You're not even allowed to cover a song on YouTube. Like, they'll copyright strike you. They won't, like, they'll take part of the ad revenue. They won't necessarily take all of it, but it's fully up to like the record company.
I think it's the biggest
which is stupid horse shittery.
Yeah.
I also, like, when I made that Dunkirk video years ago, I only ever used the audio from one scene in Dunkirk. And it's the scene where like the guy like walks into the sea, and there's music playing over that scene by our boy Hans Zimmer. Mm-hmm. And I got copyright striked because that scene's like that for the 15 seconds, and it's like a full review of the film. Like and I'm criticizing it, but also like.
Bro, remember when fair use laws were a thing?
Well, they are still laws.
Yeah,
it's
not on
just
YouTube.
YouTube and other websites get to enforce their own rules on top of that.
Although, if you make a fucking 15-minute video and you use a 15-second clip of like something, literally they should only be able, like YouTube or whatever company goes to claim your video should only be able to take like a percentage of that clip. If they're gonna fucking be. It's like, oh, I played like 3 seconds, or I used like an Eminem sound clip, and then UMG shows up to claim the whole fucking video, and it's like, okay, then I'm just gonna go in and remove it.
Or just play as much music and use as much footage as possible that none of the copyright claims. They all like cancel each other out.
Just like at the beginning of the video, play like 2 copyrighted artists that are just from separate labels. So it's like Sony and UMG come at you at the same time.
Yep.
I'm sure then YouTube would be like, all right, guys, you can get a 50-50 split of this video's ad revenue.
Yep.
It's like, what about me? The person who's only used that like 15 seconds of 2 songs.
I think Jim Sterling used to do that. Is like when people copyright video gameplay footage of like you playing a video game.
Yeah.
They would like just play clips from a bunch of games that were like from publishers who were the most likely to fucking claim. So it was like, eat shit, all of you, because I'm fully Patreon supported, so
yeah,
you'll fuck off. But yeah, Amaranth, the thing about her that she did was she bought a gas station.
She bought a gas station?
Yes, with
Why?
her Twitch money. As like an investment.
Okay.
She bought a gas station somewhere, and it was like, this gas station costs $4 million. And so she paid $1 million down and got a loan for the remaining $3 million. But because of like small business because of like small business tax incentives for opening a business, she managed to get like 1.1 million back. So she made profit on the full deal.
That's so stupid.
Yep. And then she's like, I'm going to lease out the gas station to like Esso or whatever the fuck, one of the companies, and then make bank. And I'm like, that's fine, Amaranth. I don't think you're a terrible person for doing that. You've clearly like made your money normally, and that's not a deeply unethical thing to do.
Hey, if the system allows you to do it without you like jumping through some bullshit loopholes,
yeah,
you deserve it.
I also just don't think opening a or purchasing a gas station is like one of those things where it's like, that's unethical. Like, I know like gas isn't good, but also like she's not even necessarily benefiting the industry at that point. Like, it was going to exist with or without her owning that gas station type deal.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's fine, but it also shows how like people who are already rich can get richer.
Yeah.
Because she's rich, and that's fine. She made her money on Twitch. So she only made money because people wanted to give it to her, and that's totally ethical.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to be like, Amaranth sucks. I'm here to be like, Rich
Well,
people.
especially we can't do that considering I'm sure like a few weeks ago when we were like, yeah, Hassan with his $3 million house, and we were just like in full support.
And we're like, that's fine. Buy a house. You have your money. Like, it's not really my problem. You also give money to charity.
And has also blatantly said when people got mad that you were buying a $3 million house, he said 2 things. 1, give me better options for housing. 2, tax me more, bitch. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
If Amaranth wants to make money, go for it. I'd rather her make money off of like leasing to a business than fucking being a landlord.
Yeah.
Which is where like a lot of YouTubers go in the direction of being a landlord.
Yeah, which is lame.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of landlording, but it's like not even really them.
I literally, if I had enough money to buy my own house, I would just rent the rooms out to my friends, but I wouldn't make a profit off of them. I would be like, all right, cool. This is
pay your fair share.
This is what it costs to run the house, and I'd probably also, if presumably if I had a mortgage, I would also make them cover the interest, but not payments on the mortgage.
If I won the lottery, I would buy a house and just let all my friends live there for free.
There's still upkeep on the house.
Yeah, but I won the lottery. Like, if I won $40 million...
Okay, $40 million. Yeah, sorry.
That's the lottery. That's what the lottery is this week, Ian.
Yeah, but you can also win $1 million only.
Yeah.
There's, like, ranges to this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just buy, like, I'd buy a... If I won $40 million, yeah, I wouldn't charge them anything.
I'd buy, like,
you know what? I would be a real dickhead and, like, be like, I'm still charging, like, $500 rent, and then I'd put it in a savings account and give it back to them.
You'd be their mom.
Out. Yeah, I'd be their mom, but I'd act like I'm just taking their money from them.
And here's your bank account.
And it's still better than fucking going out and finding a place to rent around here.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be anybody's toxic mom. I would just let them live there for free.
I was joking, but
and then I'd install peepholes into all their bedrooms so I could see them naked.
I would try and buy one of those fucking houses up on like 9th Line.
That was a joke. I'm not actually interested in sexually harassing my friends
unless they want me to. Which then it's not sexual harassment. I would get like I would honestly I'd be like if fuck every single time I drive past those like houses on 9th Line. Be like, man, one of these houses would be so sick to have because there's like no one else around you.
Yeah.
But then also that land is constantly being bought up for development, so maybe it's an investment.
Yep. Or maybe it's a scam.
That too. Yeah, I had chicken teriyaki for dinner, and I forgot the teriyaki sauce like flows right through me. It makes me shit. Sorry.
I don't know why that was so funny.
Just what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, what would we do if we had money? I would pay off my mom's mortgage. But I would take that portion of the house.
Yeah, I'm going to build a wall through your house.
Okay, not that. But I mean, I would give my mom the money, but it would be expressly like, you're putting my name on the ownership of the house. Because then, inevitably, in the far-off future, when my mother passes away, and I have 3 siblings I would also have to split the money with, I would want my money back. It's a return on investment.
Yeah. See, I wasn't thinking about siblings. I was like, Ian.
Well, your mom's house is paid off and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were thinking that I was going to be like, yeah, you can't use the downstairs bathroom. No,
I was thinking like, Ian, you don't need your name on the thing. She'll just leave it to you, and I will.
Yeah, well, there's still a portion that's not paid off that would. Actually, I really like that house, so I don't know. Maybe I'd just pay off the rest of my siblings.
Buy them out?
Yeah, just keep that house.
Or you could be like, hey, just leave the house to me in the will, and then leave other things to the rest.
There's none that there would be a huge difference in money.
Yeah.
And they would all get very mad. Actually, who knows? If my brother doesn't shape the fuck up, he definitely might get left out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? More money for me.
Destiny posted or retweeted something on Facebook that I thought was really funny. And
you mean like everything she posts?
She posts a lot, but my favorite thing that I saw was IKEA is a Metroidvania. That just made me laugh.
Yeah. she sent like everyone the fucking meme of like, it's Veterans. I don't want your no Facebook post for Veterans Day. Send me money over on my Venmo. And then she posted her Venmo.
Well, joke's on her because ours is Remembrance Day. You have to die to get.
Also, our Remembrance Day for us is straight up like, hey, bro, what world war did you fight in? None of them? Fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, Remembrance Day was originally supposed to just be World War One.
Yeah, Flanders Fields and all that.
Yeah, which is one where you're like, man, everyone who died in this war is clearly a victim of the fact that Europe had monarchies.
Yeah,
that's really the problem.
And then
here.
every person who died in World War II was like, man, we really fucked over Germany for a while.
No, everyone.
And then they went and did actually horrible things. So like, war still justified.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, only justified in World War II. Arguably the only justified
World
war
War
of all
II
time.
was truly a sequel to World War One.
World War II, I would argue, isn't a very good sequel to World War One because like World War One is a story about like three family members who are the leaders of nations, and they're all like cousins with each other, and they just fucking hate each other's guts. And so they're like, you know what? I think this person should fuck off, and they send like 1,000,000 16-year-olds to die. Like in like the first war that used like where technologically equal powers fought each other in the history of like the last 100 years or whatever. For the first time, technologically equal powers fought each other. Meanwhile, like the history of Europe was like, yeah, wars are easy. You just go somewhere and murder everybody. Oh, what do they have? What do people in the Congo have?
I don't know.
Not guns.
Oh, well, I feel like that's wars in Europe, but prior there was a bunch of wars in North America as well, and the ones fought between white people were pretty equal on like
like the Revolutionary War,
1812, Civil War.
Yeah, but like those weren't because like technology hadn't quite advanced as much.
Yeah, but also those were all wars where it's like it was like literally a big group of people where like a bunch of them were like, hey, you know what? I'm not very cool with how the things are going right now, and then they split. So it wasn't like it was more like them trying to disconnect from the people they didn't like.
Yeah,
and not we're going somewhere to take over your fucking country, which is what Europe is more used to.
Yeah, and arguably like Britain didn't really fight in the War of 1812. I know people say they did. But most of the British soldiers were really Canadian soldiers, just like Canada wasn't a country.
The only people who say that are Americans who just wanted to stop Canadians from saying that we beat them one time in 1812.
Yeah, also, like, they signed a treaty
it was 1819, but like...
1814. War of 1812 lasted until 1814.
It was 7 years.
Nope. Super short war.
In the grand scheme of things, it was a shoot
for a war.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a literal war called the 100 Years' War that happened previously.
And like sure, they were all British citizens, but guess where they lived?
In Canada. Like it was mostly Canadians.
Like if Ireland got in a fucking fight with Northern Ireland, they wouldn't.
You wouldn't say Irish fought the British.
Yeah, or specifically if it was like England was like, we're not dispatching troops to Northern Ireland, and they were just like, wait, which one do they own? Ireland or Northern Ireland? They own Northern Ireland. Okay. They were like, yeah, we're not going to send you troops to Northern Ireland. We're only going to send Irish Northern Ireland troops back to Northern Ireland. Yeah. You wouldn't, if Ireland beat Northern Ireland, we would absolutely say they beat the United Kingdom.
We would, just because that's what you do.
If Northern Ireland beat Ireland, we would just say the Irish beat the Irish.
Yeah.
Where it's like whoever.
The Canadian soldiers burnt down the White House.
Yeah. And no, they didn't. It was British soldiers.
No. It wasn't called the White House at the time because it was named the White House after it got burned down, and then they whitewashed it, and that's when it became the White House. It was originally just called, like, the President's House or whatever the fuck.
Alright, where does the President live? The White House?
Currently.
We burned down the White House.
Yeah. It's white because we burnt down the not white version of the White House.
If in history, like, if we just say we burned down the place the president lived, every American would go, oh, the White House? They wouldn't fucking do this revisionist history shit where they go, like, actually, it was called a different thing before.
Yeah. Also, Americans will say that the War of 1812 didn't end in 1814, it ended in 1815. And that's when Canadian soldiers returning back to Canada after the peace treaty was signed got ambushed by American soldiers and killed. And that was the last battle of the War of 1812.
Oh, they just want the final W.
We got it. America won.
Sure. They won. No. They won that fight against those Canadians.
And they won the war.
Because those Canadians were like, oh, why is there a bunch of Americans charging us? Oh, no, they're killing us.
Yeah. I also love the fact that the president at the time was, like, the worst president ever.
Which one?
Like, he was just a dipshit. Like, not bad, just, like, dumb and didn't have anything and was just, like, a fool.
So he was modern president? I don't know.
No, the opposite. Like, he had a really weak army. Like, he didn't really have any plans. You know, modern presidents are like, well, yeah, we'll drone strike those kids.
Drone strike those kids?
I mean, yeah. One of the people on that school bus could be a terrorist.
You're right. They could also be a future doctor, but we don't only talk about that when we're talking about abortion.
Yep. Let's abort those kids in that school bus.
Let's do a living abortion.
Let's do a drone abortion.
A drone abortion?
Drone abortion.
Abortion drone?
Abortion drone. Anyway, happy Remembrance Day.
Happy Veterans Day for you people in the United States. I'm sure you're not very happy.
Throughout this episode of the podcast, there will be exactly 60 seconds of dead air that we've just like scattered throughout the podcast. It's not lulls in the conversation, it's for Remembrance Day.
Alright, so you want to get into some news?
Yeah.
So, did you see the One Piece live action cast?
I saw the wanted posters. I didn't see like a video of them or whatever.
So the video is just them announcing who they're going to play.
Yeah.
And they all seem decently excited. Here, I just want to pull up. So one, people are complaining, as they do. Because remember, this they don't look like the exact real anime characters.
Oh no, a person doesn't look like an anime character?
Yeah,
God forbid.
Just open up Discord on your phone so you can look at what I sent you.
Yes, I
So there's the cast matched up with like the characters they're going to play. Mm-hmm. And let me go through what everyone hates about them.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing Luffy is hated because it's a brown gentleman.
Inaki Godai.
Yep.
It might be Inyaki.
Yeah.
Because it's got the umlaut on it, or not the umlaut, squiggly, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
He is from Mexico.
Oh, I thought he was
I know.
Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
But he's Latino.
It's also the name as well. Feels like Inaki. Feels like it could be like some actually Asian shit.
Yeah.
But so he is from Mexico. He has starred in a couple like things on Mexico. Do you know why people don't like him?
Because he's Mexican.
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Not because he's not Japanese.
Luffy.
We can get this all
Luffy's name isn't Japanese.
What?
Luffy's Monkey D. Luffy
is not Japanese.
Is not a Japanese name.
Correct.
So it's you could like there are certain characters on this crew that are more Japanese or less Japanese.
There's only one character who is canonically considered to be Japanese.
Yeah.
And so Inaki Godai, it's because he is not Japanese and not white, but Oda, who is a producer on this show, he is actually working with Netflix. Years ago, made a like real life casting, or like race casting for all the characters. Luffy was Brazilian, so Mexico is pretty much the same thing to a Japanese man.
Yeah.
Nami, who's being played by Emily Rudd, was Swedish, which is just fine. You can literally replace that with any white woman.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, Swedes, you don't get much. Zoro's character is being played by, he has just one name, and it's Makenyu.
Yeah, I feel like that's like he might be some kind of pop star.
Perhaps, but he is actually a Japanese man.
Yeah, that makes sense. Zoro is the character who I'm like, that character should probably be
Sanji
Japanese.
Sanji is supposed to be French, but Taz Skylar, who is playing him, I believe, is British.
Okay,
which is fine. Also fine.
And they got, are people also pissed that there's a black man among the cast?
Yes, but Usopp, from the beginning, let's go into the race thing about it. Usopp has big lips. He's the only character who has big lips.
That's fair.
And also Oda said that Usopp is from Africa.
Okay, that's fine.
And look, if you go look at his early character design, he has this like kind of puffy,
like, even
curly
if
hair,
we-
but it's not specifically like black hair. It's like not nappy or anything.
Yeah.
But then after the time skip, Usopp has a big like ponytailed afro
Yeah.
that's like bulges out a ton. Usopp is a light-skinned black man, but people are just mad that Jacob Gibson is playing him, who is just a black man.
Yeah.
He's not light-skinned. He's not like half. He is just a black dude. So Emily
People are
Rudd,
being
people
dumb.
are having a problem with because her tits aren't the sizes of her head / bigger.
I don't know if they know this. It'd be impossible because one of the two people next to each other in this picture, one of them is a drawing.
And also, in earlier One Piece,
She has slightly smaller
Nami
tits.
has a normal slim woman's figure. In the post time skip, she gets like quadruple D's, a waist that holds no organs, and a fat ass, and she never wears underwear anymore.
And like, God forbid that even if there is like people who are more slender and have bigger tits, like, God forbid we use a person who is like a possible woman.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
like not a completely impossible physique for the average person.
I hope they don't do the thing they did with like Faye's outfit in Cowboy Bebop. I understand why you change it because Spike is dressed for his job. Mm-hmm. He's hot, but he's like,
she's wearing a very similar outfit. It's that she's wearing pants instead of shorts. But you can see in the trailer that they're like
those leggings.
There's still, but you can see in the newer trailer that came out or whatever that like they're still having her do sexy poses and shit.
Yeah, she's still supposed to be sexy. It's just that she's not anime. I'm wearing unrealistic, impractical clothing for at all times. Mm-hmm. But and then you got Jet, who's like, I'm a Bara, I'm a giant man.
Yeah.
I just hope that.
And I didn't see anybody complain that Jet's black, even though like in the show he's pretty clearly not.
He is
just
very
like
white, but
the voice actor's a black guy.
Everyone for the entire time was like, Jet's a black guy.
Yeah,
guys.
come on,
like,
guys.
straight up.
Come on.
He's a former cop who tried to expose corruption and then was blacklisted and then lost parts of his body.
Also,
he
his voice
sacrificed
actor
himself
is
for the
black.
greater good. Yeah,
In the English dub.
yeah.
So like everyone hears that voice and is like, yeah, he's black.
So back to the complaints. We've done the non-white, the non-white, and the Mexican. Sorry, and the woman. My bad.
Yeah.
So then Mac
Do people have complaints about the Japanese man?
Yes,
Why?
he's not buff enough.
Oh no, he's not buff enough. It's not like you
incorrect
could
as well,
have him
which
work
is
out.
incorrect. If you look up a picture of this guy,
And it's
he's-
not like you could have him work. Have these people not seen like?
Chris Evans prior to the MCU.
Yeah,
Go
like
watch the movie The Losers, which came out like a year
He's
before
the
Captain
nerd in
America.
that movie.
Yeah, he's the schlubby nerd.
yeah, like you could work out. Like
Yeah.
it's not. Oh my fucking god! I'm
Okay,
just mad hearing about
it's
this.
that he looks like a Japanese pretty boy, like he looks like a J-pop kind of guy. But then also like the picture they use.
Arguably, Zorro is also that.
Zoro's supposed to look like a rough and rugged kind.
He doesn't. He doesn't look like a rough and rugged guy.
You don't know that.
I've seen images of the man.
Yeah, you're right. Also,
He
One
looks
Piece
like a
doesn't.
bishy boy.
You are only rough and rugged in One Piece if you are made to look rough and rugged.
Yeah.
And it's like you look like you've been through some shit.
And like they could
even Gold Roger, who
they
was
could
at the
put
end
like
of his
5
life.
o'clock shadow on this man or whatever, or
Yeah.
dirt or scars on his face, and he would look as rough or rugged as the anime character.
So like, well, Zoro has scars on his face.
Yeah.
In post time skip, he loses an eye.
Yeah.
But this is pre-time skip when Zoro is like 20 years old. Because remember,
And
One
by the
Piece
way, us defending
aren't that
this
old.
casting doesn't mean that we think the show is going to be good. We are coming at it as the show isn't out yet and can't be good or bad.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist.
There is factors that push it to being like more on the good side, which is during like the video where they all talked about that they're in the show, they all seem super excited. Emily Rudd like her whole Twitter profile is just like One Pieced out. So like
That's great.
hopefully these people are fans.
Yeah, it's
Which-
like, and you know what? Like, as we were saying about that Resident Evil, the Welcome to Raccoon City, like, even if the thing doesn't turn out good, it being made with love can give it charm. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to watch Welcome to Raccoon City. Does it look like a good movie? No. Does it look like the people who made it love fucking Resident Evil?
Does it? Yeah. It looks like the people who made it were like, we want to make a Resident Evil 2 movie.
They put out a new fucking featurette showing off the details, like Easter eggs and shit. Mm-hmm. They got maps from the remake games and built sets to those maps, and then have like typewriters and shit in the same place, and like green herbs in the same place, and fucking the key that opens a specific door. They made a physical version of one of those stupid fucking Resident Evil keys in the trailer. You can see them take it off, and it's like the clover key or whatever.
And it looks like the people in the movie want to be in the movie.
Yeah,
I think the problem is that it's the.
Is it going to be like a low budget kind of shitty horror movie where it's like it wants to tell this story, but it's like not a particularly clever story, and the thing that makes those games good is that they're games? Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly going to be correct. But at the very least, there's enough love there that I want to see it just to see the love. Mm-hmm. You know?
So also, when you look up a picture of Ma Ken Yu, you can find one of him like shirtless when he's like working out.
He's a buff motherfucker.
He's decently buff. He's not MCU buff, but he's jacked.
Yeah.
Like, he's in good shape. And then Taz Skylar.
So whatever, he does some steroids like the MCU actors do, and then he'll be good enough for the show.
So then we have Taz Skylar, who is the guy who's playing Sanji. Mm-hmm. He has short blonde hair, and he's got a little bit of stubble going on, but so does like Sanji has like little chin stubble.
Yeah, and also like wigs exist.
Yeah, there you go. Wigs exist. It's that people look.
I don't know.
Oh, look at this dude who looks like Eminem, and it's like, one, come up with a more contemporary reference, because Eminem hasn't looked like that since he was Slim Shady in the early 2000s.
And B, like,
wigs exist. This we don't. Even
I don't know if you know this.
We don't know where they are in production of the show. His hair can grow.
Yeah, and also, like, this isn't even, like, a picture from, like, it's not like this is a picture from fucking yesterday. Mm-hmm. This is a headshot he has. Yeah. It's a publicity picture. Who knows what his hair looks like? It's been 2 years of fucking COVID.
When will Jacob Gibson get prosthetic surgery to give him a, like, foot-long nose? Why aren't we talking about that? That he doesn't have a big-ass nose.
It's almost as if, A, wigs and makeup exist.
Yeah.
And training.
If you go look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, most of the time,
find old pictures of people.
Look at Thor.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth doesn't grow his hair out for those roles. Yeah. The most natural he has ever looked to his real body
he uses
type.
His real hair in Ragnarok and Onward. And not
Onward. For one more,
Ragnarok and Infinity War,
and then they bring him back to it and
he's wearing a wig in Endgame. He's
wearing more than just a wig.
No, it's all real. He gained all that weight.
Oh man, so he's doing the Christian Bale.
Yeah, he went method.
Yeah, so there's the people involved in the show look like they want to do the show.
I'm just saying,
I'm
Ian,
sure it's going. If I kind of like.
I'm just saying, Ian. Chris Evans is brunette. He can't play fucking Captain America.
Oh, you're right. He's
He's brunette.
Yeah, and also we have to Stephen Strange, the guy Benedict Cumberbatch.
He's British.
He's British, and he doesn't that white
Doctor
hair.
Strange?
That white hair he has doesn't naturally grow.
Yeah.
Also, when he has longer hair, when he played Sherlock, gets curly. Stephen Strange's hair isn't curly.
No, it's not. It's like very like flat.
Mm-hmm. Actually, for him, I'm sure. Yeah, I know he didn't wear a wig, but it's still like, shut the fuck up. Like, coloring of people's hairs exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just more excited. Like, I want to watch the One Piece show, because either it's going to be like everyone's fighting totally normally, because for like the first couple, like for the first 40 episodes of One Piece, like the
only
anime,
Luffy has superpowers.
Well, the villains they come across have like some of them do. But it's like Luffy's a fucking freak to them, and then they.
I think they are going to significantly. This is good. So One Piece is plagued by filler. I think this is going to be plagued by cutting entire small arcs out.
I think the first. I don't know how long each episode is going to be, but I really think the first episode is going to be Luffy meeting up with Zoro, instantly recruiting him, them beating Captain Morgan within like 4 minutes. I don't know how long each episode is going to be, though.
I'm assuming, because it's a live action show, it'll probably be like 40 minutes
Okay,
to
if
an
we
hour.
have 40 minutes, then I think the first episode will be Luffy with Kobe going to Captain... Luffy, first 4 minutes, beats Alvida. Next 16 minutes is recruiting Zoro, beating Captain Morgan, and then going to where Buggy the Clown is and recruiting Nami and beating him up. Or that could actually be the first 2 episodes because Sanji and Usopp are only in 8 episodes. So, like, out of the 10 they said they're making.
Oh.
So I think this will probably go to the... 40 minutes, live action show. The fights are going to be faster. The backstories are going to be shorter. This is probably going to go up to like the Arlong Park saga, which is like episode 50. Actually, no, that's episode 40. 50 is when they go to the Grand Line. Fuck, they could even get to there.
Yeah.
Like 10 episodes covered per episode. Or like, no, wait. Fuck, my math is super bad right now. Yeah, 10 episodes per episode. Nope, 5 episodes per episode.
10 episodes per episode's a lot.
Would be 100. 5 episodes would be like across 10.
50.
It gets you to 50. You get to the Grand Line. Then if you really wanted to, you could start the second season with them meeting Vivi and do the Alabasta arc.
I think what's going
Which
to happen is that
deserves to
some
be
episodes
longer.
are going to be like 2-ish episodes of the anime.
Yeah.
And then some episodes are going to vastly skip entire large chunks of it.
I think maybe first episode will be entirely Luffy recruiting Zoro. Second episode will be...
First episode could be Luffy recruiting all of them.
No, it won't be, though.
Why not?
Because Usopp and Sanji aren't in every episode. And then but then post that... Like, once they get recruited, they are in every episode until
Okay.
they hit the Grand Line. Like, so I think it's going to be Luffy recruiting Zoro. Nami is in the background in the original show.
Yeah.
And then they'll recruit Nami in the next episode. And then in the third episode, they'll probably recruit Usopp really quickly because Usopp has the worst villain and the worst recruitment section. Like, straight up, it sucks.
They could just have Usopp be in the same location as one of these other characters when he's being recruited.
They could do that, yeah.
Like, they could easily do that.
Not maybe.
If I recall correctly,
maybe where
doesn't
Buggy
he
the Clown is.
doesn't he break Zoro out of prison?
No, Luffy breaks Zoro out of prison.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Zoro is imprisoned, but he's just tied up without his swords to like a post, and he has to go 30 days without eating. And then they'll just like let him off, but they plan to execute him like the 21st day, and Luffy gets there on the 20th day.
yeah.
And he saves him, and then Nami's in the background, and then they run.
So you could just have so you could just, instead of having like a separate episode or a separate part where he recruits Nami, you could just recruit them both at the same time. Easy. Fucking, I'm writing the script. I'm like, fuck it.
It's
Why even
pretty
have
much-
this next
pretty
episode?
much, well, because
Boom.
Buggy the Clown is kind of important.
Okay, but you could still establish Buggy the Clown as being responsible for the imprisonment.
No, it wouldn't be, because the imprisonment happens because Zoro gets lost.
Right, but he could get lost into like an area controlled by Buggy the Clown. Like,
Buggy
it doesn't
the Clown
have to
is
be
a pirate. He wouldn't be in. Like,
You could say Buggy.
pirates don't have control over islands until you get to the New World.
This is an adaptation. You can change whatever the fuck you want. Nothing
Yeah, but
is
you can
nothing
change
sacred.
You can change as much as you fucking want, obviously. But there's to an extent. Turning Buggy the Clown into like not a pirate who's on the lookout for treasure and a man who's controlling an island.
Can it be he's a pirate, but that he's like a privateer? Like the government's fine with him, and that's
There's
why he
other
owns,
characters who are important, like Kobe specifically. Kobe is a kid that Luffy saves from Alvida in the first episode, and that kid wants to be a Marine, and that kid is being set up as being like Luffy's Garp, which like Goldie Roger, he had one Marine chasing after him his like whole career, and it was Garp. But they were like kind of weirdly friends. Where like Roger considered them friends, where Garp like kept his distance.
You could have just said Zenigata and Lupin.
Fuck, you're right. I could have.
Yeah,
Luffy has 2 Marines that chase after him, though.
yeah.
One
Are
is-
either of them as interesting as Zenigata?
I think Smoker's pretty interesting. Okay. He's a Marine who is like he's one.
Because I love
like,
Zenigata.
Yeah, no, Zenigata's the best because it's like he's treated like a bumbling fool.
Yeah,
But so is.
but he's like clearly Zenigata is like talented.
Yeah.
but he's just compared to Lupin.
Yeah,
Not
it's like Zenigata only goes after Lupin because no one else can compete.
yeah.
except for a bunch of the villains in fucking season 4.
Yeah,
or
right.
part
But
4.
But
that was them being like, this is a reboot. Or like a soft relaunch of Lupin.
That's how it works. That's what the parts are in Lupin. It's not that anything's a sequel to anything necessarily. It's that
part 1's like a straight up just like 12 to 24 episode show, and then part 2 is like 200 episodes.
Yeah, it's like part 2 like doesn't say any of the first season doesn't happen, but it also doesn't say that it does.
Yeah, Lupin also exists in hyper time.
Yeah. Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Mm-hmm. Like, Castle of Cagliostro is like, what fucking decade is it?
Yeah. I saw...
They literally drive from a modern casino to a castle nation.
Mm-hmm. In Lupin the Third, the First,
yeah,
they literally go from, like, a modern museum where they're, like, showing off things with this, like, incredible technology, but the villains are Nazis. Who straight up say we're trying to create the Fourth Reich.
Yeah.
And at one point, Lupin dresses up as Hitler.
Ian, I don't know if you know this, but Nazis exist now.
No, I know, but I mean like proper Nazis.
Yeah.
Not people who share their ideals, people who were like, Hitler was our guy.
Actually wearing the uniform. Mm-hmm. That's cool. I like the idea of Lupin punching a Nazi.
He beats up a couple of them.
That's good.
Pretty cool. And also tells a girl that, hey man, you're being abused by Nazis.
Yeah.
They are the bad guys. You think you're helping them out.
I'm just saying, but they should also still have kept the line from Porco Rosso. Better to be a pig than a fascist.
Yeah.
Such a good fucking line. Mm-hmm. He doesn't shoot anybody after that. It's just a really good line.
Also, like, Lupin the Third, the First does, like, really good shit for the rest of the characters.
Yeah.
Like, there's a funny fucking bit where everyone's like, where Fujiko and like the girl like jump out and Jigen is there to capture them, but Goemon is driving, and Lupin goes to jump out.
Goemon can't drive.
I know, but that Lupin goes to jump out and land on the car. He's like, "Catch me now!" And Goemon just swerves out of the way. Like, it's not like, oh, he had to turn for some reason. It was
he
straight
just
up like,
intentionally
go fuck yourself, Lupin.
Yeah, that's great.
I've also been seeing like a lot of fucking old clips of
there's honestly like, the older shows aren't like perfect, but there is great moments.
Bright Memory Infinite just launched.
Yeah.
Why?
Because today's the day it comes out.
That's so weird. I didn't hear anything about it.
I didn't read this, but I scrolled past a review that called it a 6 on 10.
Oh, damn it.
So, I don't know. Could it be that the reviewer's wrong? Possible. Depends on... Because it's also... Bright Memory is a weird game that's like, this is a first-person shooter for people who don't like first-person shooters and do like Devil May Cry.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they got, like, dismal the whole game.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck this game's so mean to me.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just someone who's, like, not into it.
So, I would like I don't care how they change the characters' abilities for One Piece, because like some characters' abilities are like actually make no fucking sense. Mm-hmm. Like Luffy being able to stretch and that's how he beats people. Whatever. Nami, when she gets her abilities, it's fucking stupid. She has a pole that can change the weather.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Usopp is more deadly with a slingshot than a gun.
That's good.
Yeah. So let's move on from that. Naruto's in Fortnite.
Isn't that fucked up?
It is. I wonder who they're... I literally think it's just going to be Naruto and Sasuke they put in.
I just saw Naruto himself.
But I would love it if they put some of the women in there.
Or Rock Lee.
Or Rock Lee, the actual best one. I would love to see Rock Lee hit the dab.
Have you ever thought that... Did you ever think that the first time that Naruto would fight Batman, they'd both be shooting each other with guns?
No, Naruto's gonna get a special pickaxe, and it's just him whipping Rasengans around. And Sasuke's is gonna be his, I don't know, either Chidori or no, he'll probably have his sword if they give them those.
They might have like special.
Well, if it's a collab, normally if it's a collab, you get both
skins and emotes.
Yeah,
he's gonna get
skins and pickaxes.
There's going to be let's make predictions. I think there's gonna be an emote where you turn into a girl.
Perhaps, but
or clones, just shadow clone jutsu.
I think it's gonna be shadow clone jutsu, and then they do something maybe they form a Rasengan or something,
or they all just run in, they all spread out and then go back in.
For whatever, if presumably it's just gonna be Naruto and Sasuke.
Yeah. I've only seen Naruto, but in different outfits.
I just think Sasuke as well because he's like the other.
Yeah, I just think they
protagonist of the
might
series.
instead do like, oh, here's Naruto and here's Shippuden Naruto, and here's Boruto Naruto.
They'd put a child in the game.
Yeah.
Naruto, like a 12-year-old. I'm gonna fucking kill.
Regular Naruto, regular outfit Naruto, like orange, no black, right?
When he's 12.
Yeah, and then orange and black outfit, and then his outfit from in Boruto where it's slightly different.
But would they all just be still like an adult Naruto?
Probably should be like the same height because that makes it easier
Everyone
to
in
model.
Fortnite is the same height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if Harley Quinn met Naruto? I think she wouldn't like him.
I don't think she would at all.
Yeah.
I think Naruto is an annoying dickhead. I think there's no reason to like Naruto at all. He's the least likable character in Naruto. Where like you go watch One Piece and it's like Luffy's annoying. Yeah. Everyone's fucking annoying. There's all like someone in the crew will annoy you, but you're still like it's endearing. Mm-hmm. Like Usopp until the Enies Lobby arc, he's constantly yelling about how he has like 8,000 pirates under his command and he's always lying, and it's just like, bro, shut up. It's embarrassing, but also it's like, oh, it's his nervous tick he has. But like Naruto is just annoying. Yeah. Like the only reason why people like Naruto is everything else going on in Naruto. Or same like with like Black Clover. Asta's fucking annoying. Everyone else is cool.
I think just trying to think of like characters who would like Naruto. I think like Spider-Man would like Naruto.
I think he would be like, look at this guy.
They'd get along.
He's funny.
Yeah.
And then he finds out he's like, oh, this is how you are all the time?
Well, Spider-Man is like Spider-Man's different. Spider-Man just bullies people.
Yeah,
all
but
the time.
isn't it like he bullies people to like demoralize them?
Yeah, that's why Spider-Man villains hate him more than any other superhero's villain. Because he bullies them.
It's Dante's wacky woohoo pizza man. Dante.
But Dante at least kills his villains.
I think Dante would like Naruto though.
I think Dante would not like Naruto.
I think he'd just be like, look at this
Dante
guy.
cannot stand being with other wacky woohoo pizza people.
He doesn't really encounter other wacky
all of
people.
his friends are far more serious than him.
Jester, you're right. Jester,
and he fucking hates Jester.
Mm-hmm.
Dante has to be the only funny person in the room, or else his like ego can't.
I think Luffy would be fine with Naruto because they're similar. It's just Luffy's lovable.
Yeah. I think Dragon Ball would be fine with Naruto.
Goku.
The main character of Dragon Ball is called Dragon Ball. Yeah.
The main character of Bleach is Bleach.
Yeah.
Because that's how Ichigo's hair is that color.
Yeah, and the main character of One Piece is called One Piece.
Ichigo would not like Naruto.
Ichigo couldn't stand Naruto. To be fair, I don't think
Ichigo doesn't stand most people in his own
that's
series.
what I was going to say.
He does have a Naruto in his series, and he's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal. Mm-hmm. And his name's Keigo, and they're like best friends. It's like Ichigo has like two best friends from like always from like from growing up, and then he adds Chad as like their newer best friend.
Yeah.
But whenever Keigo is like, why don't you love me? Ichigo like kicks him in the face. He's like, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, I think Ichigo wouldn't like most other characters that are in Fortnite. I think he'd probably like John Wick.
Well, for sure. I think he'd be like, oh, I'm a fan of your movies.
Yeah, or he'd be like, oh, we're similar personalities because we both are serious boys. Mm-hmm. Like Batman would probably get along with John Wick.
Yeah.
But
Ichigo
Batman
and Sasuke would get along because they're both depressed all the time.
Who would get along with Sasuke?
Ichigo.
Oh yeah, okay.
His like that's the thing that kind of sets Bleach apart from like Naruto and One Piece. Is Naruto
Bleach is like more the main character's more serious.
He's entirely serious the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, and the one time I hate it. The one time he gets cocky in the fucking anime and the manga, they just instantly job him. They're just like, get fucked, the loser. It's like, great, cool. I like cocky protagonists. I think they're good.
I like characters that are fun. Like, I get the point of having more serious characters or whatever, but I think like the type of story that Bleach is doesn't need serious characters because it still takes place in a ridiculous world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're not writing fucking Berserk.
There's enough like older people who like fill in the serious role. And well, I think Bleach really likes to do that whole like, oh, we're serious, but then they're like, oh, but this is like my moment where I'm not serious. Like Ichigo, when he's around his family, like gets flustered and embarrassed because his dad is an embarrassing man.
Yeah.
And he has two like little sisters that he like is like, you know.
Do you know who Ichigo would probably get along with?
Who?
Light Yagami.
I don't think so. Ichigo, because Light Yagami has like a god complex.
Yeah, but like
where Ichigo's just like, I'm just a man.
Yeah. I don't know. See, I have not watched a single episode of Bleach. I'm basing my entire concept of his personality around his character design.
Ichigo has
the fact that we managed to have this conversation and I've just based the entire conversation around his character design shows legitimate talent of Tite Kubo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Tite Kubo has the best character designs.
Yeah, he's one of the best. Yeah.
He's
a really talented artist.
I really wish that he was one of those guys who would just...
When I watched the Super Eye Patch Wolf on Bleach, where he was talking about, like, the backstory of Tite Kubo, where, like, he was, like, literally fucking teen. Like,
yeah, he was just drawing
cool shit. Yeah. And, like, being a super talented person super young. Like, you look at that and you're like, wow, you know,
it's all in
I have a lot more...
The artwork throughout all of Bleach is awesome.
Like, I straight up did not think of Bleach in any way, like, for a long time until I watched that and was like, oh, so it's about this talented guy who was a kid and he just wasn't a talented fucking writer.
He's a talented artist who should have been like a clothes designer.
Yeah,
because some of those Bleach designs are fucking fire.
Like, he draws character designs that, like, you can tell what the character is, what the personality is, just by fucking looking at them.
Yeah,
and he's a talented guy. He draws good battle scenes. He's got great artwork. In a lot of ways, he's not a fucking writer.
Yeah, he's a very bad writer.
He's not a writer, but he was also like, he wrote that story when he was like 16. Like, if you were like looked at any comic written by a person, you know what's crazy 16,
is when he was writing it, like the first bit of Bleach
is great,
is amazing. But and then it became incredibly.
That's
cyclical.
Because I'm sure he had an idea and was like, these are cool things I want to do, and then he'd been writing it for 3 years and is like, I didn't think I'd be alive at 18, like Bleach, all of us think. Where we're like, I'll be dead by 18.
If Bleach was a straight up, like, 24 episode show, where it was just, like, the beginning of Bleach to, like, the rescuing Rukia arc, it would be, like, a 10 out of 10 show.
And speaking of 10 out of 10 shows, did you hear that the actual date and some more information of this next show happened? So JoJo Part 6... is going to come out with the first 12 episodes on Netflix December 1st, and they were saying that it like might be coming out with new blocks monthly, but I don't know how realistic that is.
This is what my guess was when I saw the news.
Yeah.
Because it is also airing on a TV channel in Japan.
In January, yeah.
Yeah, in January?
January, like, 20th.
Okay, because my theory was going to be that JoJo Part 6 was going to launch on Netflix for 12 episodes for the whole world, also in Japan, but Japan also will like
they're
air
broadcasting
on TV.
them. Yep.
Yeah, that they would broadcast the 12 episodes, and then the day the 13th episode would have come out, then we would get it on the next 12 on Netflix.
That could still potentially be true.
It's just that we might have a bigger, or maybe when they're like on episode 6 or something, we'll get more episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of wish it was just coming out weekly.
Honestly, I think this is fine too. I don't give a shit.
It's fine. Oh, like as long as episode 12 is a stop get point,
it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's like when they got to that partway point in part 5, where they took like a week or so off. Do you remember that?
No.
I forgot what episode it was, but it was like
it's probably the episode after where it looks like Bruno dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he survives and they still have Trish with them. And then it's like, oh, now we have a proper goal, which is to save Trish's life by killing the boss.
The direct halfway point of part 5 is like that. Like when like the entire story of part 5 changes. And then that's when Fugo leaves.
That's when he had to say he's not coming because he's too powerful. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because arguably his power could easily kill King Crimson if you just think about it.
Because you can't stop. You can't go. 10
it's poison gas. Like poison gas got fucking it can't kill me. And like when I reverse time, it's like that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Or not. Well,
he doesn't reverse time. He jump through it. He literally would make it worse for himself.
Yeah, there'd be more gas in the air.
Yeah. There's a pretty good edit on TikTok of him, in the scene where he like walks up the stairs towards Polnareff, which also. I knew this was happening, but I didn't notice the animation, which is that he activates it when he puts his foot on the final step, and him walking towards and past the pillar, like when he walks at the pillar as his young version of himself, goes past it and then takes his sweater off, and then he ages up by like 20 years and becomes the actual guy. They edited it so that when like it revealed him in full and the time skip happened. I also didn't notice that Paul Nareff was looking at the stairs and then looks over and sees him there. I fucking didn't like put it together. It's like, oh yeah, he wouldn't see him do the walk.
Yeah,
I'm so stupid. But yeah, when he takes off this sweater, it's like the whole time 21st Century Schizoid Man is playing.
Yeah,
but it like matches up when like the full reveal of like the song title happens.
Yeah,
and then just goes like into the rest of the riffs and shit. It's like, yeah, if JoJo had full access to the music, be amazing.
Yeah.
That's so much money though.
I'm very interested. I know we've like heard it once, but I'm excited to see like how the new version of the JoJo theme like in fights works, because like honestly the fucking part 5 version is the most iconic right now. The piano version of the
yeah.
Because like there was the previous version or whatever that was like good. They're all great. It's a great song.
Yeah.
But like specifically the way it's mixed in part 5 where it's just the piano, it just goes hard. So I'm excited to see that. And also I'm happy that the Japanese voice actress was like somebody who's like, I wanted to be a voice actress to be like a fucking in JoJo and be Jolene, which is great. And according to a leak, our American side is getting a very similar thing.
Kara Buckland?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, the English version of one of the trailers leaked, and everyone's like, "That's Kara Buckley. That's her voice." And fuck yes, like that's who it should be.
Yeah,
that's one of those things where you're like, Netflix subtitles are bad, so maybe I might watch it dubbed even. Like,
well, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. Well, with like a
the
show
translations sometimes are really bad.
Yeah, but with a show that they're like actually putting a lot of money into.
You mean like Neon Genesis Evangelion?
That was a show they just took they
put a lot more money into that.
Yeah, but they were like to make their own dub. They're just like, yeah, but the rest prints money, so whatever.
Yeah, but they put a bunch of money into that, and like the subtitles are awful.
Like, I don't know, how are they in like Squid Game or like Kingdom?
Squid Game bad.
Really?
Squid Game notably bad.
I know the dubbing is really bad in it as well.
Oh no, the dub is better than the sub for Squid Game.
I just was like, I of course not watched it, and even if I did, I would have watched the sub. And also, I just put up with bad subs sometimes. Like,
yeah,
like when I was watching
dubbing anything live action, it's just like I can't watch it because it doesn't match, and it's like it's like a different human
But it's
person.
like also there's this like Japanese boy's voice or Korean boy's voice.
Yeah.
It can be like a smooth and like just a normal man's voice, but still be intimidating because they have specific speech patterns and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, or it's like,
it doesn't have to sound.
This boy is rude because he used like or whatever the fuck. Ore.
It's hard to like
but
translate the fact
English,
that like rolling your R's in Japanese is like how to be like a fucking intimidating motherfucker.
Yeah, and also like you have like the biker gang in fucking Lost Judgment where like all the guys that are in the jacked ripped ones are like, "Oi!
Yeah,
we're here to kill you." It's like, bro. But then you go in like the English dub, and I'm sure that guy's like, "Hey, we're here to stop you." Actually, I'll get to this in a second because it's the only thing I did this week, and my week's gonna be just really short.
Okay.
But let's finish up the news.
Okay.
You want to say it because it's your news.
Oh shit. Which one? Oh, Shoji Meguro announced Guns Undarkness. That's Guns Undarkness, not and Darkness, which is an indie stealth JRPG that he is designer, producer, and composer on.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It looks very early. It's an indie fucking game, but like the music's good, obviously. But it's like essentially like a third-person stealth game that also has turn-based combat.
So it's like Persona.
No,
it's
like Metal Gear Solid, but then when you fight somebody, it's turn-based.
Yeah, well, the reason I think about it like as Persona is because like in Persona 5,
there are stealth elements.
There is stealth elements, and then you can also be like, oh, if you get the jump on someone, you can like start the fight more on your terms. But like obviously not like Persona. It's just that I looked up what Soji Mikano
Shoji
Meguro has worked on, and he worked on Persona.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm sorry, you didn't recognize the name. Shoji Meguro does all the music for Persona.
Okay, I only read the blurb at the top of Wikipedia, and obviously I read it quickly, and I read just the bottom, and it says that it says has also served as creative director on the PSP remakes of Persona 1 and Persona 2.
So this is his first everything. He's like fully got creative control of this new game because it's not Atlas, it's not any other company, it's fully indie. That he's just making for himself. So it's not, again, it's like if you look at the graphics of the game, you're gonna be like, oh, this doesn't look like incredible, but it looks cool enough. And again,
graphics don't have to look incredible.
He's doing the fucking music.
Good
for
to look at.
He's doing the music for the video game, which is like enough to be like, oh
also
yeah,
game design.
Huh?
He's also doing.
He's doing everything. It's his fucking game. He's just the character designer is actually a really great character designer as well. It's not him. It's a different guy. And Lotus Juice is helping with the music. So I know.
I literally don't. I would never forget. I forget everything. Lotus Juice.
Persona 3.
Other things as well, because I know they've done more than that.
Yeah,
but course. Like every single time I hear the name, like I know they're good.
Yeah, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Persona 3 is what I immediately think, because that's where they collabed the most. So yeah, it looks cool. It looks neat.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like 10 out of 10, but it looks neat. It's worth a look at. So let's get into the week. So let's try to be fast about it, because last week's episode was way too fucking long of this show. So Ian, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I want just so everyone knows, we're recording this on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because I'm out on Friday. I'm out on Saturday, and Nathan just didn't want to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I just figured it'd be easier to do it today because it's a day off for me.
Yeah.
From work.
So I've been tomorrow.
Today.
Oh, today. I get it that it's because today's the actual day.
Yeah.
Come on, just give me Friday off.
I know.
So I've been just still watching One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
No, really didn't do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now in the best arc. It took me forever to get through the bad arc.
Big Cake Island?
No. Best pre-time skip arc. Which is the Enies Lobby / Water 7 arcs.
See, I don't know if you noticed this, but every time you talk about One Piece,
you always say Whole Cake Island, but you say it wrong every time.
I didn't realize it was saying it wrong, because I was like, that's the only arc of One Piece that I know the name of.
Enies Lobby is when it gets like super dark, and they just really like they've always had the whole thing where it's like some Marines are kind of fucking assholes, and then also like because of the stuff that happens in the Alabasta arc, they just give full credit to Smoker, even though Luffy was the one who beat Crocodile. But now they're just straight up. It's like, oh, here's like CP9, which is a secret organization. It's like there's like the CPs, which is like there's 1 to 8. CP9, is super secret, and there's also CP0, which is like a current antagonist.
Okay.
And like now One Piece. So CP9 is like shows up and like takes Robin away. And then it's just like they're just fucking villains. They're like, oh, we're gonna like torture and like do bad things to you and like use you as a government, like world government slave.
Would you say CP9 is like Argus?
What?
Argus, the government organization that Amanda Waller is a part of.
Yes. So they're like super bad guys, and then it's just there's a whole bunch of like the crew breaks up. Like, Robin just leaves without saying anything at trying to protect the crew. Yeah. Because they were threatening to do a buster call to them, which is, like, the thing that destroyed Robin's home island. And, like, is the reason why she's had a 90 million berry bounty since she was, like, 8 years old.
Is Buster Call, like, a Death Star type deal?
Yeah, pretty much. It's 5 Marine admirals show up, vice admirals show up. Because there's an infinite amount of vice admirals, but there's only 3 admirals. So they show up on warships and they just endlessly fire upon something until it's like a smoldering crater. So Robin at the age of 8 was the only survivor of her island because that island was home to researchers that learned how to read these ancient tablets that exist in the One Piece universe called poneglyphs. And they're the only people Robin is the only one left in existence who knows how to read them. And so they want to kill her because they have the truth of what happened in like the period where the world government was created, like 800 years ago, and it's definitely something fucked up. But then we get introduced to Frankie, the shipwright, the eighth person to join the crew. And so, fucking Christ, why did it start like that? So Frankie has two drastically different voices from the English dub to the Japanese. I'm not going to play it on the mic. I'm going to play it so you can hear it. And so this is his Japanese voice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
It's normal.
Yeah, he rolls his R's
But
a lot
he rolls
as well.
his R's.
Like I can't roll my R's, but when he says Frankie, it takes forever.
Frankie.
Longer than that.
Frankie.
Yeah, they're more like that. And he says super a lot.
Super.
So in the English dub, like the Funimation dub, he's voiced by Patrick Sates.
Oh yeah, okay. I know
like,
exactly. You don't even play it. I know Patrick Sates' voice.
It's not bad, but it's so drastically different.
I mean, honestly, it's about as close as you could get.
Yeah, it gives off the same vibe.
Because you can't just do the rolling R's thing, because it doesn't mean anything in English.
But they try and do the Frankie, like they try and like do the Frankie-isms and stuff, which is just... He goes like, yow, all the time. But it's like Patrick Sate's deep-ass voice doing it.
He's Dio in the English dub.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, it's the weirdest. It's like the biggest like turn on casting. Like everyone
honestly,
else has
it's
a
weird
similar
because
vibe.
even though Dio's like a big buff guy, in my mind he's a twink. You know what I mean? Like
because
he's
of
Griffith.
part 6.
Well, and he's Griffith. Like in my mind, it's like Dio and Griffith are basically the same type of character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Griffith, Dio's like, I hate everyone, where Griffith is like, I'm going to sacrifice people that I've apparently love because I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. No, it's...
Dio wanted power the whole time. Griffith wanted power because of something in his backstory.
Yeah, Griffith wanted power because he's like, I'm a poor person and I want to become a king.
Yeah. Dio wanted to not be poor and gain power to eventually become a king because he was born poor.
They're they are fairly similar in backstory, but like Griffith does it by like having a bunch of people who he loves and supports and takes care of, but simply like the act of politicking and some of the things that happened wind up with him like experiencing some of the worst shit in the world happen to him, and like emaciated and with his tongue cut out and like busted and broken, he like essentially sells his soul to the devil, and like sells out his people. Yeah.
Where Dio always intended to sell out his people.
Dio is more of like I'm somebody capable and willing of murder, like even when I'm like starting. That's
actually they get they go a little more like explicit with it in part 7. Because like his like introduction is that like, oh, he's a British aristocrat, like who but the way he got all of his money and like favor with the queen is that he married like a 70-year-old woman, and then she died in mysterious circumstances and left him all her wealth.
I mean, he could have just married her and waited.
No, it straight up implies that she like died abruptly, like she was perfectly healthy and then she started to die. So it's kind of like how Dio gets adopted by fucking
Jonathan or
George Joestar.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he starts getting sick. Yeah, so yeah.
That's great. Jojo's good. So I this week started playing AI the Somnium Files.
Yeah.
That game's really good. It's it's in that genre of games that you hate, which is, well, I don't know if you hate, but that you're like hesitant towards. Not even talkies. I'm saying like it is the genre of it's a visual novel but with some other game mechanics on top of it.
Readies. Yeah.
Like there's voice, there's good voice acting. The English dub's great, but it's like it's in the same genre and by the same creator as like 999, right? You know that game for the DS. You know of it.
No.
9 persons, 9 hours, 9 doors.
No.
Okay, it's a game that is a visual novel that is also has like escape room parts. He went on to do AI the Somnium Files. It's more of like a you talk to people. It's like fully like a point and click game.
Yeah.
Like when you have gameplay, And there's like sometimes there are bits where you are walking around inside people's dreams because the pitch for the game is you're a detective who can enter people's dreams in the future. It's cool. It's a cool game.
Sick.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great game. I think it's fun.
It's got good artwork.
Yeah. Also, the guy who wrote and directed Punchline. So there are bits in this. Yeah, the anime and the video game. If you say there's a Punchline video game again on this fucking podcast, I am going to be so mad.
Oh, yeah. I fucking hated Punchline. Some really good designs and interesting. I just hate that the fucking whole thing about the show is that if he gets aroused twice in one day, the world explodes and resets. And it always ends with him looking at, like, his roommate's panties. Like, every time. And, like, get it? That's the Punchline.
Yeah, no, but it's... so, Punchline is, like, a more comedic thing from him. I have not seen Punchline.
Yeah.
I think...
But, like, one of the girls in the house is, like, a superhero.
Yeah.
Her name, like, Orange Juice or something. And it, like, unironically, the fucking first fight in the first episode she gets in is done beautifully. It's just that the rest of the show is just, like, nothing but, like, perverse jokes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, cool. It looked really cool when it was about this, like cute, magical girl who beat the shit out of people.
But that's not what it's about. Like, it's about this other thing. So Punchline is more of a comedy than his other shit.
Yeah.
Like, again, like his other games are like sci-fi or like have like a bunch of weird shit in them. And he's like much like
you know what? Actually, Punchline was the beginning of like Mappa's rise to fame. With like them just being like, holy shit, everything Mappa touches turns out amazingly.
Yeah. Because Punchline's really well liked. It's just you don't really like it, right? Isn't it? I've heard mostly good things from other people.
Like what, the online anime?
Yeah.
The rating it has when you just Google it on Google is not great. It's just average. Okay, my anime list gives it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
So that's just like okay, like good, okay to good. IMDb gives it shit, but IMDb is where the fucking like real normies are. Mm-hmm. And then Crunchyroll has a 4.3 out of 5. So my anime list is like the one to look at there. Yeah, because that's the one where like the degenerates, who
hardcore weebs,
hardcore weebs are on my anime list. So yeah, it's liked.
Yeah. Anyway, 999 is great. Like, I'm not going to explain why the Zero Escape series is like deserves your time, but like I would tell you to grab the Nonary Games pack, which has 999 in it, because that game's super short and there's a bit there are game mechanics in that game that like when you get to it you're going to be like, holy fucking shit. Like, there is a bit in 999 where like not the story, the fucking game mechanics change and you're like, what the fuck? It's great. And like, it's, I don't know, it's just wonderful. Obviously it was better on the DS because there's a really interesting way they use the DS, but like, fuck it, you're not gonna buy the game on DS. Just get the fucking HD version, dude. But you know, those games are great. AI the Somnium Files is also good. It balances itself more with like, it's like very serious at points, but also like extremely goofy and dirty. Yeah. At other points, like in ways that are like sometimes funny, but like sometimes some people might, like me, I can like take it because I'm like, oh, it's this guy. Like, I know by the end of this game I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? In like the best way. Yeah. So I'm like more okay with it than, but like other people might not be as into it. There's like a lot of dirty jokes in the game, like when you look at certain things, like there's a really funny bit where like multiple times telling somebody that there's a porno magazine on the ground gets them to look down. Including the main character. Including the fucking main character. Somebody tells that there's a porno machine. Yeah. Like, he has an AI in his head and it's a girl's voice. It's actually the voice of On from Persona 5. At least in the English dub. And she's like, She's like, Tate, there's a porno magazine on the ground. He's like, huh? And he ducks, and a bullet misses him. Which is funny.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, other people think that's funny or interesting, or just think it's fucking stupid.
It's a good joke.
It's a good joke. But yeah, I like the game a lot. I have not beaten it yet, but I'm very interested to see where it goes because I like a lot of the characters, and I like the story so far, and I like how like different things happening like changes the narrative significantly. But again, if you haven't played Zero Escape, specifically the first one, 999, play that game first of all. Just if you're interested in any game that's visual novel like, play 999. It's fucking amazing. It's like legit. It's one of those games that it's hard. Me telling you anything that's like awesome about it is a spoiler, but I will tell you this: at the very least, if you like escape rooms, you should play this game because it has like cool escape rooms in it. That's the whole Zero Escape franchise. They're all escape rooms and visual novels at the same time. But yeah, if you like Danganronpa, play Zero Escape because the people who make those two games are friends.
That's lovely. I'm glad they're friends.
Do you want to talk about comics, or you want to talk about something else?
Oh, well, I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Talk more about One Piece.
No. We've talked a lot about One Piece this episode. We talked about One Piece news, and we talked about One Piece in the week.
Yeah. Because it's a great show.
Oh, also Disney Plus Day is tomorrow, and I'm sure there's a bunch of trailers for or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, so I did some research.
Yeah.
There's no good One Piece games.
There's no good One Piece games?
No.
Did you play World Seeker?
No, it's on sale right now, and I literally, like, every time I look at it, I'm like, this is a standalone, like, random story where it's, like, an open world thing, but Luffy's, like, the only one who has, like, good traversal of the open world.
I think it's only Luffy that's playable.
That's lame. There's so many good moves.
But it's a traversable... It's trying to be like a Spider-Man.
You know what, Nathan? I'll go home and buy it right now.
Buy it right now. Come back.
I got, like, a week until Pokemon comes out.
Multiple times I've said to you, did you play One Piece World Seeker? Because that looked like a good actual game, like, and not like a fucking Arena Fighter or Warriors game.
So I recently pulled my 3DS out,
yeah,
and I re-downloaded fucking the One Piece game I had on there.
Yeah,
it's a retelling of like the entire story up until the Enies Lobby arc. Like it goes past that and shit, and it has some new anime. Like they did some like HD animation,
yeah,
sort of thing, like. With a separate studio for the game, but it's only at the beginning. It's only in like very specific points, but the rest of the game is like a weird turn-based game.
Yeah, like a turn-based RPG.
It's turn-based. It's a proper JRPG and shit.
I think that would be good for One Piece.
I think it would be great. I just think this game is done poorly.
Okay. I remember. Do you know what just like came across my head, and I don't know why. I think it would be good, but it just like happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like a One Piece Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney game. I don't know why, but like in my brain, it's just like
they have really expressive faces.
Yeah. I'm like that might be cool.
Like there was the classic Enel face, which is the main villain of the Skypiea arc. He is a guy who his power is lightning. Mm-hmm. So he thinks like it literally takes so long for him and Luffy to finally meet. He's like decimated everyone else in the Straw Hat crew. Nami's acting like she's like a prisoner to him. And then Luffy just like shows up and he like boom drops like 10 million volts of lightning on him, and then Luffy's just standing there like biting his lip like, did you do something? And then it cuts to Enel and his face is like his mouth hanging down, eyes are bulging out of his head because it's like they kept having to come up with reasons for why people would Logia fruits, which is like when your body turns into the element. Mm-hmm. You are like Luffy's brother is pure fire. Smoker is pure smoke. Mm-hmm. Like it's that if you shoot them with a bullet or punch them, if they don't want it to hit them, it'll just pass right through them. Mm-hmm. So because Enel or Eneru, whatever, because Luffy is rubber, he can hit him. Yeah. Because he's electricity and rubber isn't affected by it. So that's the only reason why Luffy is the one to beat this guy. Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking stupid. And then they made it a thing in the part 2 where it's like, oh no, There's a whole ability that Luffy just didn't have that allows you to hit people like that. It's like a huge debuff on Logia users.
That makes sense because you have to like translate everything into a JRPG mechanic.
Oh, this is in the show.
Oh,
yeah. This is the logic in the show. If you think about shows like your battle systems in like your world, your fantasy world, as like a video game system, you got to make it fair at some point. Like you can't just have one guy who's like, oh, this is the only guy who can deal with enemies that are like a steel type or something.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
You got to get to a point where it's like, oh, I can just throw any of my guys out. Of course, there's the best option, but everyone is capable of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But,
do you think One Piece should introduce Galactus?
Galactus?
Yeah, or like a similar character.
Well, does Galactus eats planets, right? Does he eat suns?
No.
Because One Piece is like their planet's like the size of the sun or something.
He could eat their planet. He can be that big.
He could just take chunks off.
He could just be that big. Like Galactus doesn't really have a size.
Yeah.
Because like he sits with Squirrel Girl on the moon and they hang out on the moon. Mm-hmm. And he's just like a big man, but he's not like big enough to like fucking dumpy the whole moon.
Yeah.
You know. But then also he's big enough to like planets sometimes. You know what I mean?
He can grow his head to comical proportions.
It's just you know.
Yeah.
He's a being that like isn't constrained by our logic of size.
Yeah.
Like he just can be whatever.
Yeah. I think what One Piece really needs is just like a good, like, I guess Pirate Warriors just make it like when you go to fight an enemy one-on-one, it turns into like a better arena fighter. Mm-hmm. Like, which is kind of like what the late Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games were.
Yeah. Like
there's parts where you just beat up like hordes of enemies and shit.
Yeah, it's like it's an arena fighter, but then at some points it turns into a shitty Warriors game.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's like, I think that's the problem. My problem with Warriors 4 is it's just people were like, oh, you have so many more options and shit. I'm like, yeah, but the options suck.
Yeah.
The options were better in 3s. Like, shut up.
Again, I think One Piece like actively translates to a Dragon Quest style, like
JRPG for
JRPG
sure.
really well, and it's fucked up that they haven't like successfully done that with a big budget.
The only problem is that every single One Piece fight, it generally ends up it being a one-on-one sort of thing. Yeah. So making it turn-based would be like you have to include other characters.
Yeah,
because you'd have to include like other characters for like their reasoning for not being knocked out. Because normally, by the time Luffy hits the final boss, they are like Sanji and Zoro are finishing up on their fights, or they are just knocked out.
You could just change it slightly, and then just have parts where like certain party members are unavailable, but not all.
Just
of them.
Make it a three party sort of thing.
A 3-person party.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But like all 9 or whatever characters that can fight in One Piece. That are on the
every
Straw
single
Hats.
member of the Straw Hat is a combatant. So
you know what I mean? Like how many characters are there that like would be a party member in a JRPG?
All of them. There is no person on the Straw Hats who doesn't fight.
Right, but like, are there 2 that are like the same class?
No,
they're
all unique. Like Luffy has rubber man powers.
Obviously,
Zoro swords.
Yeah.
Sanji kicks. Mm-hmm. Usopp is a sniper who uses a slingshot.
Okay.
But he also gets like a weird, cool staff one. His shit gets really crazy.
Which character would be the healer?
Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
He's a transforming reindeer who can go from small chibi size to big man size to actual deer. And then if he eats this thing called a rumble ball, he can go through many other transformations, but only on a time limit. And then he removes the time limit after his training.
So he's like if a white mage was also a summoner, kind of like Yuna.
Yeah, sure.
From Final Fantasy X.
Nami would be like a black mage.
Black mage, she's
because via the climb attack, she can create storm clouds and stuff, and like do lightning strikes.
Yeah.
And
so you know, and fitting with our Final Fantasy X comparison, she has big tits, and she would be Lulu.
Yeah, sure. I don't know Final Fantasy X.
You don't know.
I don't know any Final Fantasy games.
Lulu?
I know 15 and 7. And I hardly know 7.
Lulu from Final Fantasy X is Big Titty Goth GF.
Mm. Oh, you know what? I do know her.
Okay.
Then Robin is she can sprout hands from anywhere, and she usually uses it to like slap people or like punch them. Like
I feel like that
doesn't a hand, like a whole arm.
I feel like that is a character that might not be a party member simply because it's a thing that is hard to like put on a class other than like basic person hit thing class.
You can do it. You can use her as a party member in the other One Piece, like the game that I tried to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to go through it all again because it's like 100-hour game because of how much grinding you have to do.
Yeah.
Then you get Frankie. He is just a punch man, but he's a cyborg, so he has like cannons that pop out of his hands. Then you get Brook, who is another swordsman, but he uses a rapier. Or like he uses a thin sword. He does more fencing like movements, and when he would do buffs.
Okay.
Because he plays music, so he would be a bard. He's a bard with a subclass into like swordsmanship.
Is there like a character who would be a thief class type deal?
Nami as well.
Okay, but she's already white mage, so
yeah. Well, no, she's
or she was black mage. She was
white
black
mage heals. Yes.
Yeah.
Chopper would be like white mage summoner.
Yeah.
Jinbei is the weird one. I guess he would be a monk.
Yeah, monks do punches.
Yeah, he does punches, but also he does fishman karate, which is just like the fishman. They never explained it how, but they have the ability to like summon water and like shoot, like throw it like it's bullets. But then also they do like karate moves, like they do like palm strikes that send people flying.
Yeah, so that makes sense as monk.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of other side fleets for the Straw Hats now. There's no straight up 10th. Or no, character. Jinbei is the 10th. There's no 11th party member yet. I think it's going to be Yamato, who is transforming fucking club barbarian woman.
Do you know what? You said Yamato. That just made me think. I'd love to see like a little JRPG DMC spinoff. I think that'd be cool. That'd make me feel cool. Yeah. Like I think those characters would be fun to be on a 50-hour journey with.
One Piece you could definitely put into like a turn-based RPG and tell the story really well with like animated cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah. But you'd have to alter things slightly, which is going to always be true.
Yeah, it's just like they've already did.
Or you could come up with a mechanic to like have JRPG boss fights that are one-on-one that like aren't just like you Persona getting 5. Stomped. Just the end, right?
No. In Royal, they changed the fight. Actually, I don't know if this was in the original or if it's only in Royal. They changed the part where when you get Shido down to his final form. Yeah, it's a one-on-one fight between.
No, I think that was in the original.
I think it's done better in Royal.
Okay,
I can't remember. I don't know, but yeah, you could do something like that where it's like you could every fight you have like partners. Or like you can use them to.
Yeah, you just have a scripted part where everybody gets knocked out,
or everyone steps back or something, so Luffy can take the kill, and then you just like buff Luffy up and just make him on par with the boss, so that you can have the story part where you fucking beat the shit out of it, or you can do the fucking Ultimate Ninja Storm thing, which is do those like cinematic parts where you get a guy to low enough health, and then it's like, oh, you're fighting Arlong. And Arlong like bites Luffy and like throws him into the room where Nami has all her sea charts, and he can see that she was like abused in there as a child. And Luffy, you can do like a thing, like a mashing or like quick time event thing, to like fucking take it down. Also, a Yakuza style beat 'em up would be good too.
Yeah, it's just I think that's just more expensive. Like you couldn't do the whole game like that.
Yeah,
the whole story. But honestly, you could if JRPGs are cheap, like you could do like the entirety of One Piece as one.
But One Piece is like one of the world's highest like performing franchises.
Right, but it's still like.
But I'm saying you don't have to do the whole series. You can just break it down and do like, oh, we'll just do the East Blue Saga ending at Logtown, like, and for the first game, and then for the second game, you can go up to.
I think
Skypiea, like, or you could go do Eni's Lobby and shit.
Yeah, I think like the big thing that like shows exactly the most that they could do for any game like that, or like anime adaptation video game, is DBZ Kakarot.
Yeah, and that's like years later as well. But the DBZ Kakarot does have a ton of like the fights and stuff. Just the problem is that you can see that they started to lose budget.
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of budget again in the Frieza fight. There's a decent amount only when you're fighting Perfect Cell, and I believe they skipped like semi-Perfect Cell as well. Like that's not even a fight.
Like they did a lot with that game. Like don't get me wrong. Like it's very clearly like that's the highest budget you could do for an anime adaptation video game.
And then the final fight. Then it's like nothing again. Really bad production quality. And then the final fight against Kid Buu. They're like, all right, cool. We'll do one more good cutscene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where like I think they should have done. It sucks because Dragon Ball only has like 3 major antagonists.
Yeah.
Like really, it only does.
It's Buu, Cell, and Frieza.
Yeah. Like
because like Vegeta doesn't really count.
yeah, and it happens really quickly in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like. You can't split those into 2 games.
It's like every time a new Dragon Ball Z game comes out, it's like, who's ready to fight Raditz?
Who's ready to fucking destroy Raditz instantly? Like,
or like him being really annoying.
Yeah.
Alternately, and it's like, fuck, man, Raditz is being a bullshit thing, and it's the first thing in the video game. I might as well never play it again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's talk about comic books because we're getting a little bit long in the tooth.
Yeah.
And there's lots of comics to talk about. So, single issues. This week was a big fucking week. There's 2 issues that I haven't read yet. One of them is because it's Venom #1 and I haven't finished the last Venom series. So, I might hold off on that. But let's start with the indie shit, because why the fuck not? So, I picked up issue 1 of What's the Furthest Place from Here. This is a book that takes place in a post-apocalypse type deal, where it's just like kids and teens, and there's no adults, and yeah, the main character is pregnant, but nobody else like gets what is happening with her, but she's like extremely pregnant. It seems really interesting. It's very like music themed. The main characters all live in like a abandoned record store together, which is cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of neat stuff in it. It's fun. It's fun like teen story stuff, and it really works. It's neat. I'm interested to see what happens next. Next up, we've got Regarding the Matter of Oswald's Body. This is written by Chris Cantwell, not that one that you're thinking of, the Nazi, the different guy, who's a comic book writer who happens to have the same name. It's true. There are 2 different guys with the same name, and one of them's a Nazi and one of them's a comic book writer.
That's crazy.
Yep.
He should probably consider getting a different name.
But he's like an established person. Like he's even like he's done screenwriting for film and television and stuff, and some directing as well. So like, you know.
Wait, sorry. In the comic book world or in real life?
Christopher Cantwell.
In real life.
In real life.
Okay, just want to make sure.
The one that writes comics and not the one that's a Nazi.
I'm sure. Okay, 1 second. The Nazi Christopher Cantwell.
Yeah.
Are they both alive right now?
Yes.
It's okay. So who came first? The director?
I guess the one who is a director and comic book writer.
Well, that sucks that other asshole showed up.
Yeah.
He should sue him to change his name.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't work. But anyway, this is a cool comic book about like a big conspiracy during like to replace Lee Harvey Oswald, because there's like some kind of conspiracy about it, and so it's like a character getting a bunch of people to like help him on this con where like he's trying to like do some shady shit. I'm not sure. It's very much a mysterious story still, but it seems neat. I like it. Even though obviously Lee Harvey Oswald, there's not like some big conspiracy about it. He was just a guy who was a soldier and just wanted to murder the president because he was like, I'm a communist. But then Russia was like, well, we're not gonna like help you defect. We don't need you. You're not like special. You're just like a random soldier, man. Yeah,
you did the job. See you.
Yeah, no, but he didn't do it for Russia. He was just like, oh, I personally am, pro-Soviet Union.
Yeah.
But they didn't accept me when I tried to defect. Because, again, I was just a soldier.
Yeah.
Which is all you need to do a murder. But it's, like, that doesn't make you special. There's a lot of people who are soldiers. Anyway, next up, issue 2.
They get a whole fucking day.
Yeah. Issue 2 of A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. It's a mystery book about, like, underground.
A man with a receding hairline who has a big collar.
Well, he's not the main character. He's just one of the characters.
Mm-hmm. He's one of the people with a righteous thirst for vengeance.
No, he's, like, arguably one of the bad guys. Anyway, this is kind of about the underground hitman.
He has a bad thirst for vengeance.
This is, like, about, like, kind of the underground, like, hitman, like, subculture that exists in Vancouver. Isn't that something? I like that. I like that setting of Vancouver. It's like, oh, that's a place in Canada. Next up, issue 4 of Static Season 1. Hey, this book's still good. Static, baby. You know the deal. It's Static Shock. He's cool. Next up, we got Robin and Batman, issue 1 of 3. Not Batman and Robin, it's Robin and Batman.
Ooh, so it's about Dick.
It's about Dick. It's about Dick as a young boy. It's written by Jeff Lemire with art by Dustin Nguyen.
Yeah, we love some young Dick here.
Yeah, we love young Dick. Who doesn't?
Who wants old Dick?
Yeah, gross.
Me, sometimes.
Yeah, well, if we're talking adult Dick, yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Always prefer.
But, you know...
A little bit of young Dick, we'll take it.
You know what makes this good? Like, obviously there's the joke, but you know what makes this one so much worth? If we said Kid Dick.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, this is like a early Dick Grayson becoming Robin story, telling like Robin's origin.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit darker than you'd expect, but it's good. It's like well done. Jeff Lemire is obviously great as a writer, and it's like cool. It's a very like painterly art style, as you can tell by the cover, which I like. So it's a neat little take. Next up, we got book 2 of Batman the Imposter, which I gave you the first issue of this when it came out. I don't remember if you read it or not.
I've not read it yet.
Okay. Anyway, it's more of that. Ratcatcher shows up in this issue.
Ratcatcher 1 or Ratcatcher 2?
There's no Ratcatcher 2 in the comics. I know. I want to see Ratcatcher 2 show up in the comics because she's so good in fucking Suicide Squad.
Uh-huh.
But like instead, it's like, you know, the classic version of Ratcatcher where he's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. And not a guy who's just addicted to heroin.
Not like a decent person who like gives a line at a point in the movie that like makes me almost cry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Batman the Imposter's great.
No one else pointed this out in the movie last night.
What?
The dumbest part in that whole fucking movie
Yeah.
is just like, yeah, it's cool that the rats show up, but people just start falling over because the rats are there.
They like barrel over them.
But then they like fall over so easily.
Yeah. I guess it's fine. It's like it's not really
it's
like
fine.
a
It's just it
pothole.
looks silly to me.
It looks a little silly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that's when like that's one of the few effects in the movie that isn't mostly like practical.
Yeah.
There's so much great practical stuff in that movie.
Yeah.
But that's like very CG and doesn't look great. But whatever. That moment's so good, like it doesn't even matter. Next up, issue 3 of Harley Quinn: The Eat Bang Kill Tour. In this issue, it like kind of jumps around in time, but effectively Hush is here. But also, did you know that Nightwing exists in the Harley Quinn the animated series universe?
It makes sense since Damian Wayne is there.
Yep. So we get to see, this is our first time seeing Dick Grayson in the Harley Quinn the animated series universe.
Bro, I hope he's in the next season as well.
And because they're like taking a tour, so they're not in Gotham anymore. They're in Bloodhaven, which is Nightwing's turf. And of course, Harley Quinn won't stop talking about his butt. Let me just see if I can't. Also, Hush shows up, and it's great. Oh yeah, we're introduced to Nightwing in his cross-train gym, where he's like doing a bunch of exercise with his shirt off, and then Batman calls him to like help with the Harley type deal, and he winds up going to where they are, and then she's like, he like superhero landing in front of him. Way to stick the landing, Nightbutt.
Nightbutt.
I don't care what you think, glorious glutes. I'm just trying to take Ivy out of Gotham for a few and help her get over her fiance, dumping her on their wedding day. And then he's like, fine, I'll let you guys go. And then she's like, thanks, Tushwing. Why are you so fascinated with my ass, Harley? And then Poison Ivy's like, objectification is wrong and women are better than that. But, I mean, have you seen your ass? Goodbye, ladies. I sure have, and Harley's right. It is glorious.
They're like all much older than him, aren't they? Well, I don't know.
Like,
I guess...
if you math it out, like, yeah.
Well, I'm sure...
I mean, as Nightwing, he's probably in his early 20s / like late teens.
Yeah, he's probably in his early 20s. Harley's probably like in her like
early 30s,
early
late 20s.
30s, yeah.
Like,
because Batman and Joker have been fighting for a while.
yeah, but like Joker could be 40 something.
Joker could be 50.
Yeah,
Joker could be fucking old.
and like she could be really young.
Yeah,
because she's a fresh young doctor.
Oh
when,
yeah, when
she joins
just
him.
started working at Arkham.
It's like her first job out of
so she probably became Harley Quinn when she was like 22.
She's a doctor, like an actual doctor. So
28.
She'd probably be like 25.
25?
25, 26.
Isn't that like 12 years of medical school or something? Or is that including internships?
12 years to become a doctor, but that's including internships, but also like being a psychiatrist, you don't necessarily, or being a psychologist, you don't necessarily have internships. It depends on if she's like a medical doctor or just has a doctorate.
I think they say doctorate.
Yeah, because I don't know if she's like a psychiatrist or a psychologist.
I think it's psychologist.
Yeah, so if she's not a psychologist, then she didn't need to do an internship and be like a hospital doctor. She could have gone straight to Arkham as a doctorate in psychology.
Yeah.
And next up we have The Thing.
Wait, psychiatrists are the people who talk to you,
So
right? And they're just trying to help you get better?
no, so a psychiatrist is a doctor, like a medical doctor who specializes in psychology. They can prescribe medication to you because they're a doctor first, and they just also have taken psychology.
Okay.
Right.
And a psychologist can't prescribe
Psychologists cannot prescribe medicine. That's someone who's studied psychology.
Okay.
Completely. And they're not a medical doctor as well.
And a therapist is just someone who likes to talk to you.
Therapists also study psychology, but they have less education than a psychologist would. Same with like a counselor or whatever. Like you still need like generally, at least in Canada, like a master's degree if you really want to become a therapist or whatever. But to become like an actual professional psychologist, you usually need like a doctorate, but you don't necessarily need like a medical doctor, right? You know. You're not a PhD. You're just a...
So you said... sorry. Which was the one that could prescribe you medications?
Psychiatrist.
Just Googled the wrong thing. You can keep talking about the...
Yeah, if she's a psychologist, she's like she gets started between 24 and 26. If she's a psychiatrist, it's probably between like 26 and 28.
Psychiatrists are... you must complete medical school and an additional 4 years of residency training in psychiatry. So it's same doctor shit.
Yeah, so it's she'd probably be like 20, like I was saying, she'd probably be like 28 if she's a psychiatrist, 25 if she's a psychologist. I probably think it makes more sense to keep her younger, especially in the animated series where like Joker seems a lot older than her.
Yeah. And also if Batman has had all these Nightwing, has all these Robins...
They slash your tires and they kill your dog and they tell you that the music you like ain't music at all.
Yeah, because like Damian Wayne was grown in a tube, but he still would have like 10.
Well, we don't know if he's tube in this show.
But then Damian Wayne could also be like, if Robin's 20, Damian Wayne could still be born when Robin was 10 and just didn't know. Or Dick Grayson, I mean.
Yeah.
And then Tim Drake could be like 18 or something.
We have not seen Tim in Harley Quinn.
But
he might
presumably...
not be real. Same with Jason.
Yeah. If Dick Grayson is there and then Damian Wayne is there, there's probably the two that come in between.
Probably. But we haven't seen them yet.
That's not a Batman-focused show.
Yeah. And Batgirl had her origin like super late in this version.
Yeah. The Batgirl looks like she's much younger.
She is in university, so she is between 18 and 22.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna... I mean, like, Batgirl and Nightwing are palling around in this. They're not, like, dating or anything, but I could see that happening.
Yeah. All right, The Thing.
The Thing, issue 1. This is a miniseries. The name of the storyline, of course, being The Next Big Thing. This is like a kind of sad story in ways, but it's essentially like just about the Thing, and he's like, doing his stuff, and
he's doing his thing.
Yeah, he's doing his thing, and like, kind of just shit isn't working out for him.
Yeah,
and he feels all alone. And it's funny how like old school he is.
He's having a hard time getting his rocks off.
Exactly, it's funny how old school he is in this. Like he talks about Mr. Fantastic and the rest of the Fantastic Four, or like. Sue and Reed are in Russia doing like a thing, like having a talk, and he refers to it as the USSR, which is funny. And like reads like it's just Russia now. Like, so this is a very like old school vibes, but it also has like Thing's wife, who is like a blind woman, Alicia. She like does art stuff. Like basically either dumps him or like wants to separate because of like some shit, and so he winds up using like Space Tinder or whatever. Also, there's like a creepy ghost monster guy that's like being all creepy and weird and like mind controlling people. It's a neat little book. It's really cool. It's fun. It's funny. I just like there's a lot of comics, so I didn't have a lot to say about it. But it's good. I was like almost not going to pick it up, and I'm glad I did because it was really fun. Also, like it and like one of the other things I'm going to talk about make me like really want to see that sort of classic Thing who's like very much, you know, Yancey Street Boys, like part of a gang when he was a kid, like, but like talks in that very like old timey New York way.
Yeah.
You know, the ever loving Thing. You know, I love that vibe. We'll go back around to the Thing later in this segment. Now, next up, we've got Black Science. So I talked about this series before. This is the last bit of it. There are 9 volumes, or 3 if you get the hardcover versions. I just bought the 9 soft covers because they're easier to find. Black Science is great. Don't want to spoil any of it, but especially once you get to the halfway point, like it starts being really inventive and really cool, and doing a lot with the character storyline and like, who he is and what it's trying to say about like, you know, being an egotist and a father and like trauma and your own relationship with your own parents and like all these cool things, as well as being like a great sci-fi romp about like multiverses and space and laser guns and all sorts of fun shit.
Yeah.
Really great book. Highly recommend Black Science to anybody who's interested in the sort of sci-fi type comic books instead of like superhero type comic books. It almost feels like an EC comic at times, back in the day, which is really neat. Gotta love it. Shoutouts to Rick Remender. He's like one of the best in the industry. Hell yeah. Next up, we got Batman 0 Year. So this is a collection that has both parts of the 0 Year storyline from the New 52 Batman by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, because I heard this storyline's really good, but I stopped reading the storyline before this, because I did not like Death of the Family, because I thought it was stupid and bad. And I stand by Death of the Family sucks ass. Is not a good book.
Yeah.
But 0 Year is actually quite good. Is it great? Is it great like some of the other things I've talked about? No. It's not great like some of the other things I've talked about. But, I mean, like, if you love Scott Snyder's Batman, like, you'll probably love this. Or you probably already have read it and are like, yeah, it's good. What are you fucking talking about? But if you're like me and you're like, you liked parts of Scott Snyder's Batman and you didn't like other parts, you might find this as a good jumping on point, or as just a good thing to check out. It's like, again, because it's a prequel, it's kind of doing like the New 52 version of Year One. You know, you might find it a little bit more accessible than just like jumping in at Court of Owls or whatever. But 0 Year, obviously there was a crossover element to this. This is just what appears in Batman, and it's a totally coherent story in this.
Yeah.
You know, just like all the other crossovers that happened in early New 52 for some in the Batman world, where it's like every storyline had to be a fucking crossover. At the very least, all of those crossovers, if you just read Batman, like it's not going to be confusing. And this is also like that. Essentially, the plot of 0 Year is actually, it's almost, the reason why I say it's like 2 parts, even though this is like one collected version, is because it very much does feel like 2 stories. One of those stories is about the rise of the Red Hood gang and Batman becoming Batman. He starts off as a guy who just like dresses up as other people, like just as like regular people in regular clothes, but not Bruce Wayne, to like Batman who dresses up as a bat. And so it has like the Red Hood gang. So it's like kind of tying into sort of Joker's origin, but it never explicitly says that, which I think is fun. Then the second half, there's also like a corporate like Wayne Enterprises element to the first half, but it's not super important for what I'm saying. But then the second half is the city being taken over by the Riddler, him instituting 0 year, which is where that comes from, and Batman being this sort of like almost like post-apocalyptic Batman. Like if you take a look at this little image on the back here.
Ooh.
So it's really neat. It's a cool early Batman story. Duke Thomas shows up at one point as a little kid.
I don't know who that is.
Duke Thomas becomes the Signal, Ian.
Who?
The Signal. Wow. You don't even know who the Signal is just because he's black, Ian. You're fucking racist.
Oops.
No, I'm kidding. The Signal is a relatively recent character who first debuts as Duke Thomas as a kid in this, and then later in Scott Snyder's run, joins the Bat family. Becomes like he wears a bright yellow outfit. That's like kind of a Batman outfit, but it's a little more Iron Man-y because he's not like a highly trained soldier guy. Yeah, that's who Duke Thomas is. He's pretty cool. Signal's cool. Anyway, 0 year, it's pretty good. Is it great? No, because Scott Snyder's run, in my opinion, for some people are going to be like it's the best run. For me, I think it's just all right. For my taste. There's some of this that's written by James Tynion IV, who I've talked about how his Batman run doesn't really tickle my fancy. In this, his writing's fine. I think it's good. It's better than just okay, where I've seen in some of his other stuff. But all in all, if you enjoy the Tynion and Snyder stuff, you've probably already read this. But if you're curious, this isn't bad. I would recommend reading Year One first, just because Year One I think is feels more important. You know what I mean? But this is also good.
I just came across this meme.
Yeah.
It says when your friend mentions their wife, and then it's the fucking scene from Dune, like the breakfast scene. His mom's like, "Use the voice."
Yeah.
My wife.
That's great. I thought it was going to be the thing of someone's face overlaid over someone running around playing that hot sped up version of Go Yay.
Go shit.
You know that those memes where it's like I didn't need the gun.
Yeah,
it plays that song, but it's slightly sped up. But there's a person's face, and then there's another thing in the background moving super fast.
Yeah, I'm not that
like a guy crying or whatever, running around oh! Didn't need to. And anyway, last but not least, we got the Immortal fucking Hulk, the 4th hardcover. I also almost finished the series on Marvel Unlimited. I'm still gonna get the 5th hardcover, but it's just the new Hulk series starts in a month. So I'm I wanna know what the fuck happens in this book. So yeah, Immortal Hulk, wonderful, still great, still horror tinged fucking anti-capitalist take in the Marvel universe, baby. It's angry at the Avengers, this book. It's cool, it's great. Also, the end of this book and the start of the next part, Hulk winds up landing near Coney Island because he's somewhere. I don't want to spoil this book for people, but there's a great bit, and we've got you see he lands in the water and starts climbing up onto the dock at Coney Island, and then you see a voice from off panel saying, "Well, ain't this a revolting development?" Some people are "Oh shit," right now, but Ian's not. And Hulk's "You." The voice says, "Me." Folks said you might be dropping in for a visit, so we said we'd handle it. The others, they wanted to grab you with a force field or a Framistat, but I said no. Just keep the perimeter. I said make sure there's no rubberneckers to get hurt. And here we are, just the two of us. They rolled their eyes a little, sure, but my team knows you owe me a rematch. Maybe even a whole dang honeymoon. But looking at you now, I'm thinking you ought to quit right while you're ahead. Even if you don't talk like it, you're a smart cookie, Hulkster.
Sorry, this is the thing?
You know what time it is.
Fuck.
It's clobbering
That's what
time.
it is. Sorry.
It's clobbering time. Such a good bit.
The thing we get wrecked by the Hulk. Yeah, I see it.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a good joke. Also, like,
So here's the thing.
yeah. But yeah, so in this part, it's like one of the points in this book where like Hulk is like emaciated. Mm-hmm. So Thing actually has a chance of winning. The next issue, Thing like kind of starts beating Hulk's ass, and Hulk's like a kid. Like he's like, because it's like Savage Hulk, who is like the main Hulk that you think of when you think like Hulk smash, right?
Yeah.
He's like literally a kid. Like that's why he can't talk good. Like he's a child. The personality's a child. So the other personalities within Bruce Banner don't really like it when the Hulk gets hurt, because they're like, so like Joe Fixit comes out and is like, he's a fucking kid. Like, what are you doing? And Things like, what? But then there's also like Devil Hulk / Immortal Hulk, who's really cool. Again, this book is like cool horror shit, cool body horror shit, fucking great stuff. Immortal Hulk is a fantastic read. Super cool. Like, delves into the history of the Hulk, but it's still, if you have some knowledge of Marvel stuff, it's not hard to get into. Like, it's not super easy, right? There may still be some homework to be done, but you don't need it. It's pretty good at explaining itself, and like very early on, almost all the stories are like standalone. And again, like, this book is angry at the Avengers a lot, like, because, they don't stop the bad things. Like, like corporations are the bad guys in this a lot. Mm-hmm. The first storyline in this book is really fucking cool and creepy. They introduced the original character that was called the Hulk, back in like the oldest comics ever. Mm-hmm. And he's like a creepy guy, and he uses like nostalgia to fucking like rewrite everyone's memories through like TV and shit. That like he took the place like of all these like classic panels where it was other Avengers or X-Men or whatever doing good shit. Mm-hmm. And like he's like, I am, nostalgia, I am these things for you. So it's like, it's creepy and cool and interesting, where it's like
He Mandela affected everyone.
Yeah, effectively. He's like going back and he's like, remember Zemnu, remember your first love, remember the feeling of a warm summer day, remember being a child, like like all the things that nostalgia capitalizes on, and like he is that made into a creepy monster. Yeah. Right? Yeah, the story's called Remember, which is great. Super cool. Again, fucking cool story, cool, great writing. Written by Al Ewing and drawn by Hatsune Miku. Immortal Hulk is incredible, all of it. All 50 issues are some of the best shit ever. And I know what you're thinking. Hey, Nathan, why do you say that it's drawn by Hatsune Miku? And that's because the artist on the book...
I understood why.
Yeah, I'm just explaining to the audience. The artist on the book, super anti-Semitic. He got quote-unquote canceled, and then he became immediately a comic skater.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, but like obviously Marvel wound up firing him. Like in this book that he's working on for Marvel, a large company, he like put a joke where a character is in a jewelry store. A jewelry store. That's literally what he did. He changed it to be Jewery. And it's like, you work at fucking Marvel.
Joke sucks.
It's not like he's just anti-Semitic. Like he just hates Jews.
Jewish?
Of course.
Isn't Jack Kirby as well?
Of course.
It's like, bro, really?
Comics were invented by Jews.
Yeah.
The superhero was invented by Jews.
Yeah. As like an escape.
Superman was invented by Jewish people.
Yeah, as an escape from the real world, to be like, man, I wish there was a super-powered person who would solve a lot of the problems.
Yeah, literally, like, people have talked about that, like, Captain America is metaphorically a golem. Because, like, a golem is a part of, like, Jewish folklore where it's, like, a creature made of a substance that, like, is there to protect Jewish people and, like, fight their enemies. And, like, Captain America, like, if you read that the Doctor is Jewish, right, he's, like, arguably a golem in that way. But also... Jack Kirby was Jewish, and like literally World War II hadn't started yet, and Captain America was punching Hitler. So
when Walt Disney was making films, they're like, come on, they're not that bad.
Yeah.
Look, Donald Duck is a Nazi.
No, that's so that movie is supposed to be anti-Nazi propaganda.
Yeah, but Walt Disney.
Yeah, Walt Disney hated Jews. He just like Walt Disney wasn't like Henry Ford. Henry Ford was like, yes, I agree with Hitler and the Nazis. I'm on their side.
Yeah.
Walt Disney was like, I hate Jews, but I'm not pro-Nazi necessarily.
Mm-hmm. I just fall into that camp because we have the same opinions.
Yeah. And that's the difference. And that's why everyone remembers Henry Ford negatively, and he's not respected, and nothing like named after him is like super popular or important or treated well, versus like Walt Disney is beloved.
The Ford F-150.
Wait a second, are you telling me that the Ford Motors Company is named after Henry Ford, famously a Nazi?
Yeah.
Wow, isn't that fucked up?
Don't buy Fords, buy GMC. Go get a Chevy, kids.
Don't drive a Mustang or a Focus or whatever.
An F-150, F-250,
Any of those,
F-350.
yeah, whatever. Buy a Toyota.
If you have an F-350, you better be using it for work or else I'm kicking your ass.
If you have a F-350, you probably don't care that Henry Ford was a Nazi.
No. But also, well, if you
That's
have
a bad joke. I'm not implying that all people who work blue-collar jobs and or
that's also very not true.
Poor
It's
are
just,
Nazis.
They are just really easily lied to.
Also, there is just simply a lack of access to information for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially people who are like, I work a construction job 12 hours a day. They're
also,
not like, I'm gonna Google who was a Nazi.
I'm not familiar with the best trucks, but the F-350 is like you need the most power. Yeah. And I don't think anyone else offers that.
I'm sure there's some like for the other pickup trucks or whatever, I'm sure there's like a Toyota or whatever that can do that shit.
But it's like it's not a named one. Where like it has like the F-150 is like consumer grade. It's like, oh, you're a carpenter, yeah, get an F-150. The F-350 is like, oh, you're like a fucking engineer who needs to like haul like tons of fucking machinery around. You had an F-350. And if you get an F-250, you're a liar. That's like.
I mean, yeah, there's an element of
it's like pro consumer grade shit.
I'm
but
like
it's like
waving my dick around about it.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I have said a few times is like, if you're driving a pickup truck in Mississauga, the city where we live in,
you better be using it for work.
Yeah, like if I don't see a sign on the side, I'm just gonna assume you're.
Well, you don't need to have a sign on the side because you could just be like a smaller, like a carpenters don't like put it on the side. Plumbers don't. Plumbers usually drive vans actually because their stuff is more needs to be inside.
Yeah. Also, like
landscapers.
It's not like
landscapers are the ones who put it on the side.
Yeah. Same with like construction companies.
My mom's boyfriend was like, he was like, yeah, when his van finally fucking like fell apart, and he had to go get a vehicle. He was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get a truck, and I'm like, why? You've done customer service for a fucking grill company your entire life. Why do you need a pickup truck? You don't even do things on the side. Like my mom's neighbor. Mm-hmm. I won't say his job, but it is not a job that requires a pickup truck. Yeah. But when he is at home, he is in his garage doing like woodworking.
Yeah, so he uses it for his hobbies or whatever.
It better be for if you were drive a pickup truck,
it better be for a hobby that isn't mudding.
Truck.
It better be for a hobby that isn't mudding.
Yeah, because there's better vehicles for mudding.
But also just like your hobby is like, I'm gonna fucking drive my big gas guzzler even more.
I'm not gonna fight back against it.
That's not a bad criticism of mudding.
It's not a horrible one.
Yeah. Like especially because people who mud tend to use like big fucking gas guzzling pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm. I don't get mudding personally. Just get on an ATV. That seems more fun.
Yep.
Yeah. If
you're
doing some sort of extreme sport, you better be in danger.
Off road, like that's fine.
Yeah, get in a Jeep though, or a dune buggy.
My car.
Yeah, but you'd have to like do a bunch of modifications to your car. You can't just take.
Did you know that like consistently my car that I drive wins like dirt racing competitions?
Yeah, when it's like a rally car.
Yeah. So
you'd have to do a bunch of mods to your car.
Yeah,
Is
like
your
different
car all-wheel
tires
drive?
And shit. No.
front wheel?
My version of my car. I'm not saying like literally my car completely stock in the way I have. You probably wouldn't have the leather seats or sunroof because you don't need that.
Yeah.
To
one of those is definitely
race.
bad to have.
Yeah, but like like put fucking obviously tires that are meant for outdoor shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Chassis like upgrades.
Yeah, like upgrade shocks or whatever. Like obviously no car that you race in is gonna be like stock.
Yeah,
because like it could go faster or fucking whatever, right? But specifically my vehicle is considered a really good one. So you don't even need to buy like a big chunky gas guzzly bubbly. You can buy a fucking Japanese car and do it.
Yeah.
The more you know.
So it's the final part to our 60 seconds of silence.
Anyway, guys, that's the episode. If you liked it, why don't you give us a like? Why don't you give us a like or a review or whatever. If you want to follow, or if you want to see the video version of these episodes, which go up every Monday, just like normal, you can go to youtube.com/N8SComedy. If you want to follow myself on social medias, you can find me at The Media Hole on Twitter, at The Media Hole on TikTok, at twitch.tv/TheMediaHole, or www.whenyourballs.get stuck to your leg.tumblr.com. If you want to follow Ian on social media, you can go to @StrugglesV. But I warn you, he has come under a lot of fire recently because he said One Piece from the television show One Piece shouldn't be black. And you know what? I think he deserves being canceled for that. Thank you.